FA Cup, but for so many of us it will always be special, and no matter what sledgehammers they swing at this glorious competition, it'll still be our FA Cup. You're listening to the FA Cup semi-finals on Talksport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly. And as the teams head out onto the pitch just a couple of minutes away from kick-off, Scott Minto is with us on commentary this afternoon. You won the FA Cup, special to you this competition, Scott, and this semi-final should be special when you factor in the most recent results for both sides.
Absolutely, Aid. I do think it's a bit of a leveller, to be honest with you, where you look at what Manchester City have done in midweek, what they would have gone through, not so much mentally, because I think they can bounce back, but certainly physically, I think it would have taken a lot out of them. Of course, we know that Rodri have said that he's tired at the moment, and Kevin De Bruyne asked to come off, Haaland asked to come off, and he's obviously not playing today. So I think off the back of what Chelsea did on Monday, plus the fact that they played Manchester City twice this season, and they haven't beaten them, they haven't lost to Manchester City, they've been very good, Chelsea. Tactics are spot on. I think we've got a real game on our hands.
Oh, we have, in front of a packed Wembley Stadium for this FA Cup semi-final. We'll have our chief football correspondent Alex Crook pitch side behind one of the goals here at Wembley as well. Live football on Talksport, you can't beat it. Wolves against Arsenal in the Premier League tonight. When we're finished here at Wembley, where it's the first FA Cup semi-final, Manchester City are the FA Cup holders. Chelsea just love getting to the final. It's live right now on Talksport with FA Cup winner Scott Minto, alongside your commentator Sam Matterface.
Thank you, Adrian. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Wembley Stadium, packed from top to bottom. Away to our left-hand side, a huge banner depicting their obsession with Manchester City, held aloft by the City fans who have got inflatable bananas behind the goal. And away to our right, there was a checkerboard mosaic put up by Chelsea of blue and white, and the words, "Our blood is blue and we will leave you never," from their song from the 1997 FA Cup final, which was put up away to our right-hand side. The man who played in the FA Cup final in 1997 and was on the video for that song, Scott Minto, is here.
I was very much in the background, Sam. Felt very uncomfortable trying to be in the foreground, but there were a few who loved the spotlight, I have to say.
Cup final songs, whatever happened to them?
That was a good one, though, wasn't it?
It was. It is redemption time. Manchester City taken to the limit by Real Madrid, looking to keep alive the prospect of a double. Chelsea want to avoid double heartache at Wembley. And after disappointment in midweek, Pep has had to lift his players to fight for this trophy. Fighting not a problem for Chelsea. Pochettino would just prefer it if it wasn't amongst themselves. The expectation is that City roll over Chelsea. Coventry are a shorter price with the bookies to beat United tomorrow than the Blues are to beat the champions. But Pep hasn't beaten them yet this season, and there are one or two aching limbs in that City squad that asked to be replaced on Wednesday night. Plus, there's no Erling Haaland, and Chelsea have at least one player who would like to show City what they have been missing. Manchester City making 4 changes, Chelsea altering just one from the 6-0 thrashing of Everton. Stefan Ortega is the City goalkeeper, Walker Stones, Akanji and Ake. Rodri at the base of the midfield with De Bruyne and Silva just further on. Foden, Alvarez and Grealish in attack. Chelsea, who are still in a huddle away to our right. Petrovic in goal. The back four, Gusto, Chalobah, Thiago Silva and Cucurella. Enzo Fernandez rejoins Caicedo in the centre with Gallagher pushing on. And we anticipate that Jackson and Palmer will dovetail through the middle. Now, it could be that Cole Palmer goes and plays in his 10 position where he was so successful in Monday night's game, and that Conor Gallagher comes out to this left-hand side, but Noni Madueke also starts.
It's going to be absolutely key what Pochettino does in terms of where he puts Cole Palmer, because he's brought Enzo Fernandez in. You know, Cole Palmer, how good he was in the week, not just in terms of his goals, but just a dominating, outstanding performance. You want him to try and play in that number 10 position. Then Conor Gallagher is not a wide player either, so he's got to get his tactics absolutely spot on, Poch.
Manchester City in the light blue with white shorts. It's all royal blue for Chelsea, and Cole Palmer has just nabbed the ball from John Stones, so you're trying to bring it out from the back. Chelsea almost give it back again on halfway, and then Cucurella finds Fernandes and then gets down the outside of Kyle Walker, produces a first-time cross on the run. It was a little bit rushed because he could feel the hot breath of Walker down his neck, and it ended up stretching the City defence to its limit, and Ake kicked it out over on the far side for a throw-in, 0-0.
I'll tell you what, though, I did think that the Manchester City in the first 20 minutes might just be a little leggy, and I'm not suggesting Kyle Walker has lost any of his pace, but he didn't catch Cucurella up there, did he? I just wonder whether, again, it's all that sort of first 20 minutes, get the lactic acid. There's so much would have taken physically out of that Manchester City team, what happened on Wednesday night in terms of the 90 minutes, the extra time.
Here come Manchester City. They almost get through the middle before Thiago Silva intervenes from Alvarez. It's picked up by Grealish, who comes out to the right-hand side. Now, we had some information that Cole Palmer wasn't 100% fit before the start of the game, and he doesn't look 100% fit now. Alex Crook is behind the goal away to our right with the Chelsea fans.
Yeah, really worrying start for those Chelsea fans behind me. Cole Palmer went in for a tackle around about the centre circle, Sam. He pulled up immediately and he's been moving very gingerly ever since.
Yeah, it did trouble me when I saw him with the strapping in the warm-up. We were told that he's got a bit of a problem with his left quad, and that is an issue that Chelsea can't afford to see materialise, because he is their most important player, and by some distance. Noni Madueke goes chasing down the right-hand side for Chelsea. Across comes Ake in the left full-back position and puts it out over on the far side. Later, Arsenal can go back to the top of the Premier League on Talksport. They take on Wolves, 7:30, straight after we finish here. But we are focusing, in the weeks when others haven't, Talksport giving the FA Cup the centre of the stage and making it the priority.
Absolutely, and bravo to Talksport for doing just that. Interesting, though, it is Conor Gallagher that's come out onto the left-hand side. We know he's not a wide player, so he's doing the job for the team. You want Cole Palmer to be as a number 10, but just by bringing Enzo Fernandez back, it just upsets the balance a little bit.
It does, and they played quite well in midweek, and they looked more at home with a midfield duo of Gallagher and Caicedo. They've won the ball back on halfway, but Nicholas Jackson, who was chasing back with Manuel Akanji, seems to have done so illegally, and the referee, who is Michael Oliver today, blows his whistle and gives the free kick in favour of Manchester City. Nicholas Jackson, who sported for the first time on Monday night the stripe down the left side of his hair, which is coloured blue and white. He's a little bit late on Manuel Akanji and the free kick he's given. We have two VARs today, by the way. The support VAR is Stuart Atwell, and the VAR himself is David Coote, watching on high. Here is Grealish, far side, plays it against Madueke, shuffles the ball out of play, took a little deflection off Grealish and goes out for a throw into Chelsea, just short of the halfway line, wide on the right. Manchester City and Chelsea have contested two epic encounters already this season, and Thiago Silva has just tried to give the ball to Kevin De Bruyne on the edge of the 18-yard box. He's complaining to Petrovic that the ball to him was short, but I think he dallied on it a little bit.
Well, he's got to know. He's got to know who's around him, and the first touch was a little bit loose. I'll be honest with you, it's not really a pass that he does want, but someone like him with his experience and his ability should be able to deal with it. That's the second time now Chelsea have been a little bit sloppy at the back. They've got to be careful. I think this first goal, Sam, I really do, is so important. We normally do say that, but I think if City concede it, they still can come back. I think it's really important for Chelsea's point of view. They get at City these first 20 minutes, get that first goal on the front foot, and then we see what City, whether they can physically respond.
Conor Gallagher does brilliantly to win the ball high up inside the City half. Cucurella keeps it alive. It's a bit scratchy from Chelsea, but they unsettled Manchester City there. The ball comes back down the right side and then eventually ends up at the feet of Petrovic, and Chalobah will bring it out over on the far touchline with Malagusto for Chelsea. Blue shirts, blue shorts, white socks, coming forward now with Caicedo. Cole Palmer getting into the game, tries to push it down the near touchline, but it's cut out by Stones. It then goes into the path of Madueke, but it was a foul by Gusto, far side, and it's going to be a free kick to Manchester City. It's been a bit stop-start at the beginning of the game, and the beauty of the match between the two at Stamford Bridge was the end-to-end nature of it. Chelsea really took the game to Manchester City twice. In the second game up at the Etihad, they exposed the space in behind the defence, and anyone who watched that Real Madrid game on Wednesday night saw that space was apparent, and Vinicius Junior was certainly, and Rodrigo, trying to exploit that as well. Chelsea are going to do that. They're going to require the pace of Madueke and of Nicholas Jackson this evening.
And that's why I just wonder, Conor Gallagher, he's not that wide player, is he, where he can exploit that space in behind, and there's no doubt about it. I still think City are the best club side in the world, despite what happened in the club competition during the week. But I still think when they're on the ball and then they lose it, the transition, when they've gone from 4 to back to 3, they can be got at.
Ball goes back to Akanji. He's about 5 yards outside the centre circle. The game settling into a familiar pattern, with Chelsea defending and then looking to break, and a good feat by Jackson. He gets away to the halfway line. He's brought down by Ake. Wants a free kick. He's not going to get one. The referee says the ball was got there. Jackson furious. Palmer pleading the case for Chelsea as well, but he looked to escape Nicholas Jackson through the middle after winning the ball. Chelsea winning the ball inside their own half, and that's the tactic. Win it inside your own territory, then quickly spring.
Absolutely, and I actually thought that was a foul. Ake got a bit of the ball, but he came from behind and certainly got a lot of Jackson. But Jackson take a lot of confidence in that turn. Yes, you'll be having someone close to you.
Gallagher wins the ball back on the centre circle, and they feed Jackson down the left-hand side. He gets his strike away, but Walker was getting close to him and catching him up, and he slipped as he hit it. It was straight into the arms of Ortega. But some bright signs from Chelsea on the transition.
That's exactly what Chelsea are looking for. Try and pressure Manchester City, get them to lose the ball and then suddenly attack them when they're not quite in place. And it was a decent ball from Cole Palmer without being really in front of Nicholas Jackson. Took a decent first touch, but he was never really going to score from there, certainly not with that shot. But tactics spot on so far from Chelsea.
Manchester City, who are yet to really spark into life in the game, have given it away again on halfway. Bernardo Silva guilty this time. Gallagher's had a bright start, even though he's playing from this left-hand side. He's won the ball back high up on a couple of occasions. He's now tussling with De Bruyne, who's trying to bring the ball away. Enzo Fernandez wrestles the ball from him. A clap from Pochettino as Enzo Fernandez utilises the ball well and gives it to Palmer. He swishes it to the far side. It's collected by Madueke, who gallops down the right, gets to the edge of the penalty area, tries to come inside, goes to the outside, tries to thrash the ball through the middle of the goal. It takes a deflection and goes out for the first corner of the game. And we've played just over 8 minutes. You're listening to Talksport live at Wembley for the FA Cup semi-final between Manchester City and Chelsea. It's still goalless. Here's Scott Minto.
Well, look, you have to say it's been a decent start from Chelsea, but is one I expected, where City just still getting their legs going, really, not quite at it, not quite getting the passes right. Chelsea looking more dangerous on the break, and Nani Madueke, whatever you say about him having that argument with Cole Palmer for the penalty, there's no doubt about it. He had a really good game on Monday, and I think he's got a point to prove. He's got the belief. He certainly thinks he should be a Chelsea first teamer. He's got the technique and ability. This is a wonderful opportunity to show he should be a Chelsea regular. That battle against Ake will be fascinating today.
Corner will be taken by Conor Gallagher over on the far side, and he'll whip this in right-footed, aimed towards a clutch of blue shirts who are on the penalty spot. They now burst away from that, and filling that void was Thiago Silva. He'll go high into the air and then drop into the box, and Jack Grealish will clear on the volley. Manchester City haven't had too much time to rest. Their game finished well after 11 o'clock on Wednesday night in Manchester. Thursday was a recovery session. Yesterday, training and travel. And now today is game time. And it is important. Their record at the semi-final stage is not great. They've lost 3 of their last 5 semi-finals, FA Cup semi-finals, including to Chelsea in 2021. But here they come down the left with De Bruyne. Always someone who can provide a moment of inspiration. His cross is blocked by Caicedo, and it goes away for a corner kick over on the far side.
Yeah, and sometimes when you're not quite there yet, set pieces come into play, don't they? So for Manchester City, again, if they were able, despite not starting particularly well today, get a goal, however it comes, whether it's open play or set piece, that would be a great start from them.
Goes short to De Bruyne, and then back to Alvarez far side, who chips the ball towards the far post. It's headed down, and there was an accusation that bobbled off a Chelsea body and went behind, but Petrovic has brought it clear. There may even been a suggestion that there was a handball in there by Rodri. He was saying that there was an infringement, but the referee has seen no reason to stop the game, and we continue on the edge of the penalty area with Chelsea in possession. They should be in buoyant mood, Scott, shouldn't they, after that demolition of Everton? But there was a little bit of discontent over the penalty that spilt over into the aftermath of the game, and in the press conference afterwards he was particularly spiky, Maurizio Pochettino. In fact, even in the interview that I did with him, I mean, we had a few questions about how well the game had gone for the team, but he was never his jolly self. He was furious about the image of the club being tarnished by the scrap.
Do you know what? It's so Chelsea to go and win 6-0, and yet still people are talking about a negative aspect that happened during the game. But rightly so, and I think it's about time Pochettino realised he doesn't have to be a friend to everyone.
Oh, Palmer from distance trying to clip the ball over the top of Ortega. He's done that before. It was won by Gallagher in midfield. And it was Alvarez once again who just a little bit scratchy with his pass. He's elevated the ball out towards the near side. Cucurella, great pace by him to get it clear, and it's cleared to halfway. It's still 0-0. Yeah, Pochettino having to assert his authority over a group who haven't lost any of their last 8 in the top flight. They're on a good run, even if performances haven't always been perfect. Some of those have been draws with Burnley and Sheffield United, so they won't be crying too much about it.
I saw Frank Lampard a couple of weeks ago, actually did a Q&A with him, and I said, do you remember that time at Bradford where you and Paolo Di Canio had an argument with the penalty? And he said, yeah, I shouldn't have done that. And look, I think Madueke and Jackson as well would, if they're good honest pros, which I believe they are, would have put their head on the pillow that night and thought, I can't be doing that. I can't be doing that. When we're really tough, we've got to show, when times are tough, we've got to show that we are a team all together as one. Have an argument afterwards, and so be it. And I heard that there was an argument in the dressing room afterwards, but Chelsea need to get back to where they believe they belong.
Mistake by Walker. And nabbing that was Gallagher, who snapped into the tackle, won the ball. He's turned back in field now. Madueke wanted it centrally. He's held on to it for a long time here, and maybe that's just taken the momentum out of the attack. The initial burst troubled Manchester City after Walker made an uncharacteristic mistake. Grealish has got to get back to deal with Malagusto, does that, pops it behind, and it's away for a corner on the far side.
Yeah, look, I just feel you can see that City are just not quite there at the moment. Their legs, their feet, they haven't got that fast feet that they've been used to, that because of what happened midweek. It's not a mental thing, they're winners, they've done it, they've been there, they've seen it. But just physically, sometimes if you're not quite at it, it's down to Chelsea now, and especially in the first half, to really pounce on City and get at least a goal ahead, because I believe City will come on strong in the second half.
13 minutes on the clock. Manchester City 0, Chelsea 0. What's already been a busy day up and down the country. Leicester victorious earlier on. Fleetwood relegated from League One. And big wins for Burnley and for Brentford. Brentford's thrashing of Luton, I think, was well received at Goodison Park as well. Here is Gallagher's corner into the near post. Foden tries to bring it clear after De Bruyne initially got it away. Alvarez has gone on the scamper on this near side. Foden's searching him out now with a long raking ball, and Alvarez is taking it out of the sky beautifully. Faces up Malagusto, sticks to his task well, shuffles him back. There's a good pass by Alvarez into De Bruyne. That's an even better one to Foden, who rounds the goalkeeper, tries to put it into an empty net. It's cleared off the line by Cucurella, comes back to the edge of the area. Akanji still keeping it alive, and here's Grealish down the left-hand side, and Madueke has to go across and put it out for a corner. What a fantastic piece of play by Manchester City. Kevin De Bruyne's pass into Foden, sensational. Alvarez played a big part too.
He did. Alvarez did really well first of all, and got Kevin De Bruyne going at Chelsea's back four. Then it was a wonderful pass, and Foden's touch, I have to say, I think Petrovic did really well, because he came out quickly, which meant that Foden's touch and second touch took him too wide. But that's what City are capable of, without a doubt.
Terrible corner from Manchester City, goes straight to De Bruyne, and he finds the side netting. And it was a bit of a scuffed shot, and it's a Chelsea goal kick away to our right-hand side. We've played 15 minutes. Chelsea, who weren't perfect against either Sheffield or Manchester United, they have, Everton apart, been conceding almost as many as they've been scoring recently, and that is something they have to be a little bit careful about. Here is Jackson spinning and running past Stones and moving the ball out towards the wide right position. He felt he was fouled, Jackson, by De Bruyne. The referee's allowed a lot to go in the early exchanges here. Jackson's still on the floor, and City have the ball. And now Oliver stops the game because this is something that Chelsea don't want to go any further than just a little bit of a knock for Nicholas Jackson. He's down on the floor, and still he's complaining, Jackson. He's back on his feet now, but he's complaining about the fact that he didn't get a free kick.
Well, one, I thought it was a free kick, but two, I don't mind the fact the referee letting things go a little bit. Then again, I'm looking at a replay, he's gone down a little bit late there. He's clutching his foot, then he's clutching his head, then he's clutching his foot again.
As Stuart Pearce pointed out the other day, pain is now transferable.
From him to anybody else, or
just at different parts of the body? Sometimes you can get whacked on your leg and it can really hurt your head, apparently.
Well, there's no doubt it's a tactic for some players. You realise when the referee looks up and sees that someone's clutching their head, that they can panic and just say, right, we've got to stop straight away, when they didn't even go anywhere near the head.
Full time in the game at Rotherham there in just a second, but City are on the attack. Down the left, back it goes into midfield. Ake joining the attack, takes it wide again. Now Grealish just manoeuvres up towards the edge of the penalty area, plays it wide, collected by De Bruyne, and now into a stretching Grealish, and he lost the ball there, and Chelsea looking to get away. A bit of frustration from De Bruyne, so we go off to the New York Stadium. Here's Cameron Pope.
Birmingham 0, a heavily delayed game. Poor quality. Blues thought they'd boosted their survival hopes late on when Jay Stansfield found the net with 15 minutes to go. This allowed belatedly for offside though. It ends Rotherham 0, Birmingham 0.
Cameron, thank you very much. Let's go to Alex Crook, who's behind the Chelsea goal, and he's got some news about Thiago Silva's vocal power.
Really interesting, actually, Sam. After Phil Foden rounded the goalkeeper and came so close to breaking the deadlock, Thiago Silva, with both his hands gesticulating, there wasn't enough talk in the Chelsea back line. He was far from happy with his teammates.
That's another bad pass that Petrovic has given him, and in the left full-back position he struggled to clear it, and City have won it back. Caicedo has tidied up. Palmer not a very tidy effort to get it out towards the near side. Now Jackson speeds away, and he'll have the beating of Stones for pace if he can get beyond him. He takes it down the left side of the penalty area. Now on the outside, low ball through the 6-yard box, and Palmer wasn't up with him, and it goes scything through the 6-yard box and out the other side. Good opportunity for Chelsea not taken. Here's Madueke on the right side. We've played 18 minutes on Talksport. Manchester City 0, Chelsea 0, but Chelsea have had a couple of chances on the counter-attack which have unsettled Manchester City, and City have had one big chance with Phil Foden getting in behind after a lovely pass from Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Nicholas Jackson, we fancy his chances today. As I say, they all do look a little bit leggy at the back, City, and the way he's turned and run the channels. John Stones trying to keep up with him, then he gets him into the box, gets him backwards. Defenders don't want to make any type of lunge or tackle once the attacker is in the box, and he put in a great cross. Someone has to get on the end of that.
Only half the back four started on Wednesday night against Real Madrid. Ake didn't start the game, nor did Jotton Stones. Akanji and Walker did.
Well, there's a few of them who certainly look as if they had played the full 120 minutes. And Nicholas Jackson got the pace of John Stones. He's already gone past Akanji. Kyle Walker couldn't quite catch Cucurella.
I was at Selhurst Park the other week, and Jean-Philippe Mateta outpaced John Stones down the outside as well. That would be of concern, I think.
Are you saying that you could as well?
No, absolutely not. My hamstrings ping every time I go into a sprint.
No, I saw you in the Talksport game the other week.
Yeah,
great left foot strike.
I haven't been able to walk properly since then. After an attempted tackle on Darren Ambrose, where I think I only broke my toe. Ball over on the far side. Manchester City have it. 0-0 the score in the semi-final. Grealish takes it down, looks to feed the ball down the left channel for Alvarez. Inside the box behind Malagusto. Twists, turns, fires a shot, takes a deflection, I think, of his own player, and there might have been an offside against De Bruyne, and it goes behind and away for a goal kick. And it was good movement by Alvarez once again, and actually De Bruyne got in the way.
He did. He's actually really good skill from Alvarez, and he's probably City's liveliest player at the moment. And he didn't start either, did he? Midweek. And there's great skill. Once you get into the box again, you don't want to make any kind of lunge. I just thought Chalobah was a little bit too far off him. He shaped to shoot. Two players went one way, he went the other. Had a decent strike, and De Bruyne has come off him. He needs to get out of the way of that one. It was on target.
Well, Manchester City's winning of the treble last season was based on solidity more than sparkle. They conceded only 5 goals in 13 games in the Champions League last season. They had the joint best defence in the Premier League, and they conceded only 1 goal in the FA Cup. That was an iffy penalty in the final. This season, though, their tactic has been more often than not having to overpower the opposition with their attack rather than relying on that solid defence, because that has been a little bit more vulnerable, and I think we've seen that in the opening 20 minutes here at Wembley. Here is Thiago Silva, just inside the Chelsea 18-yard box. He sends it long and over the top, and Jackson tries to test Akanji's pace. He forces him to shove it back to his goalkeeper Ortega. But again, Jackson's pace is going to be so important for Chelsea. They will get one chance over the top, that's for sure.
I just felt he should have read that a little bit earlier. It was quite obvious, an overhit pass. And it took him a little bit too long to realise. Akanji reacted first, gave himself an extra yard, and even though he's probably half a yard faster, Nicholas Jackson, Akanji did really good defending, gave himself too much space and passed the ball back in the end. But it's on, isn't it, that ball over the top?
Well, they haven't had an attempt on goal or off goal yet, Manchester City, and we've played 21 minutes. Chelsea have had 2 attempts on target in the opening 21, but it remains goalless, and Enzo Fernandez a little bit sloppy with his attempted tackle on Rodri in the centre circle. Yields a free kick for the champions of England, Manchester City. They'll be hoping to be champions of England again. They lead the table at this moment in time, but Arsenal will look to regain it when they play Wolves at 7:30 live on Talksport tonight, straight after we finish here. Ball over on the far touchline, picked up by Grealish. Grealish for Manchester City, weaving his way past the Chelsea defence, in on his right foot, finds Alvarez, a little bit too heavy. Alvarez's control on his chest wasn't great, and then Jackson sends Chelsea forward. He tries to speed it out towards his left-hand side, but it wasn't a great ball to Enzo Fernandez, who's made the most of it, travels down the touchline, and then Jackson gets it back again. A little sloppy back heel, which gave the ball straight to Rodri, and I think Rodri's a little bit frustrated that Manchester City have had a powder puff start.
Yeah, well, he's not really got on the ball that much, has he? Again, he's talked about being tired. I thought Enzo Fernandez did really well there. He played the ball into Nicholas Jackson, and he needs to hold it. He needs to not try and do some flashy flick. Just hold it, wait for people to come up and support him.
Akanji breaking from defence into midfield to add to the numbers, plays it out to the left-hand side, gives it to first Grealish, then De Bruyne, and then back to Rodri, who's 10 yards from the edge of the Chelsea penalty area, down the left. Oh, it's a sloppy ball by him now, and he's given it to Cole Palmer, who gets his head down and starts to run. He then looks up, threatens to feed Jackson, who moves into the right channel. Jackson receives it, then gives it to Madueke. It was a bit behind him, but he gets it under his one now, and then moves forward into Palmer. Palmer slides it forward, and he was trying to feed Gallagher, but Caicedo got in the way, made an intervention, and now it's City in transition on the counter-attack, very quickly getting up the field, but Malo Gusto does brilliantly to pinch it from De Bruyne, and now Chelsea have got men over as they come forward with Madueke. Gusto down the right side. Here is Gusto with a cross, blocked by Ake, and the offside flag is up, and that would be really frustrating for Chelsea, because Gusto could see right along the line from the right-hand side and should never have been in an offside position.
No, he should be able to look along the line, but the ball's got to be played earlier. You know, when he's running at pace, if it's not being played, yes, he's got to stop, which he didn't, but then he stops his momentum, so play the ball a little bit earlier. It was a great tackle to stop Manchester City's counter-attack. And then Chelsea had a counter-attack themselves. It's just started to open up a little bit. It came from that poor pass from Rodri.
You are listening to Chelsea 0, Manchester City 0 in the FA Cup semi-final, live on Talksport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus. Please drink responsibly. 0-0. Chelsea, who heavily rely on Cole Palmer, haven't seen him get into the game as of yet. He's scored over 50% of Chelsea's goals, scored or assisted over 50% of Chelsea's goals this season, and he does have 11 goals in his last 6 games, which is quite some tally. Helps if you score 4 on one night, I suppose. Here is Walker in towards the near post, headed away by Thiago Silva, and Chelsea encouraged to get up to the halfway line, but they're reluctant to do so, and City have it back again.
It's still 7 in 5. Take away.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. We've got a hat-trick against Manchester United as well. He certainly is, and you just hope that at the end of his season doesn't taper off with an injury if he has got a quad problem, because England need him in great form going into the European Championships.
This country needs him, without a doubt.
And need Jack Grealish in good form as well, and he's played better over the last couple of games. He did a fantastic interview in the Telegraph that I read earlier today, in which he opened up about being a little bit frustrated about an obsession in the English game with goals and assists, and not really now focusing on how well people play over the course of a 90-minute football match. We're stat obsessed, he said. He said he lost a little bit of confidence earlier in the season when things weren't going his way, and then it was interrupted by injury and illness and rhythm. And he really wants to find that form that helped inspire Manchester City to the treble.
Well, as long as his manager is not data obsessed or having a go at him about his numbers, then he should try not to worry too much. I definitely think being injured a few times this season has been a major problem. Very difficult to get into a really good rhythm.
Ball into the box from the right side, tucked away by Jackson, and it's out for a corner kick to Manchester City, who are attacking the goal away to our right. It was a De Bruyne free kick from quite some way out. It was about 40 yards from goal, and he flipped that over the top of the defence, and Jackson just decided to nudge it straight out and away for a corner. Alvarez seems to be getting pelted by paper aeroplanes over on the far side in preparation to take this corner kick. He steps up, right-footed, and launches it deep. It's away by Cucurella, and it's out on the near side for Bernardo Silva to take a throw-in for Manchester City. It's odd to see Alvarez take the corner kick when Kevin De Bruyne was so accurate at dispatching them on Wednesday night. I mean, poor old Andre Lunin thought there was a missile strike. Here is Grealish into the centre, comes to the far post, and Bernardo Silva is there, and Cucurella clears it off the line again, but I think the offside flag would have gone up against him anyway. It was Grealish to the far post, picking out Bernardo Silva. The ball cleared away by Cucurella. I think the offside flag was up against Bernardo Silva in the first place.
Well, it was brilliant defending, you have to say, and yes, it wouldn't have counted. And I'm not quite sure whether it's Foden or Silva who was in an offside position, because it looked like Silva ran from an onside position. Yeah, he was on. It's Foden, I think, was off. He went for the ball.
It was Phil Foden who was in the offside position, which is why the linesman in the end raised his flag, I think, because actually if he hadn't have gone for the ball there, Foden, and Silva had popped it in, that would have counted.
Absolutely. So great defending from Cucurella. He didn't know that. Cleared it off the line.
That is a chance for Bernardo Silva. And it's 0-0. Alex Cook tells me that as well as a paper plane that was thrown at Alvarez, a stick of celery also sent his way as well.
Yeah.
I heard they're on offer at the moment in a supermarket near you for just 29p. I heard that advert on Talksport earlier.
Is that right?
Yes.
I remember when I was on Chelsea TV, I think they just won a double with Ancelotti. They did something with Jason Cundy. We got absolutely pelted by celery. And that was our own fans with us celebrating.
I wonder what was coming then.
It's not Crookie throwing one of those paper aeroplanes, is it?
Not many jokes start. There was me, Jason Cundy, and a stick of celery. Here is Grealish down the left-hand side. Alvarez trying to get in behind Chalobah.
I'll tell you that one later.
Chalobah comes across. Gusto then feeds Thiago Silva, who's on the edge of his own penalty area. Chelsea playing out from the back here, and then Enzo Fernandez elevates the ball over the top, and Jackson is in behind Stones. He faces up the goalkeeper, goes round him. He's taken it far too wide. He needs to set up someone on the edge of the penalty area, and he can't find the pass. He gives it straight to Nathan Ake. What an opportunity. I said they'd get one in behind at some point. They certainly did, and Jackson's fluffed his lines.
Wow, what an opportunity, and you're not going to get many of those. I know you're right to point out that John Stones didn't start in midweek, but he looks like he played 2 full games. It was a million miles off him, trying to play offside in the halfway line, and then couldn't catch him at all. It doesn't look right, John Stones. And Nicholas Jackson, again, what an opportunity. Just stick it past the goalkeeper.
Palmer has it now, 20 yards from goal, spreads the play to the left. Chelsea on the attack with Cucurella. Oh, he takes a little deflection off Stones and then pops up into the arms of Ortega. And he gathers it and will clear away for Manchester City, who don't look right, do they? They look a little bit out of sorts. Half an hour in, 0-0.
Absolutely. And Nicholas Jackson, even after that, 30 seconds later, half an opportunity maybe, he's put his hands to his head and realised what a fantastic chance that was to put his team 1-0 up. A one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Just go for it. Just slot it past him.
And here at the other end, De Bruyne trying to get in behind the Chelsea defence, and Malo Gusto felt he was nudged off the ball by De Bruyne. Chalobah has blocked the effort from De Bruyne and put it out for a corner over on the far side. Well, it looks like it might rest on De Bruyne's shoulders again to take the game by the scruff of the neck. He was the one who had to get them back into the match against Real Madrid in midweek. And certainly the back battalion of Manchester City don't look as sharp.
No, they don't.
Quickly taken corner kick into Grealish inside the area. Lovely little bit of acceleration in towards the near post, away by Conor Gallagher, and it's out on the far side and away for a throw. Pochettino's not happy about something. He's now screaming and shouting, and the ball goes out for a throw-in opposite us. Jackson, who scored such a terrific goal on Monday night, has missed the biggest chance of the game so far.
You don't get bigger chances than that, really, do you? You know, one-on-one situation. Again, that's where Nicholas Jackson, I think, hasn't quite got that striker's deadly instinct.
Here is Ake left side. It hits the back of Caicedo, then comes back to him, and he's on the edge of the area, combining with Akanji, and then overstretching, loses the ball. It goes out for a goal kick away to our right-hand side. 31 minutes on the clock, 0-0, 62% ball possession for Manchester City. Their two attempts that they have had have been off target. Chelsea, whose two attempts have been on target, have certainly looked the more threatening. But there's always menace about Manchester City.
Well, this is where I feel like I'm saying it regularly. Chelsea needs, I think, to be going in at least 1-0 up at half-time. They do look leggy, they do look tired, they don't look their usual City selves. Even the likes of Rodri not quite playing the passes in the way that we know that he can. And to be fair to Kevin De Bruyne, he did start the game midweek. He is looking as good as ever. And of course Foden had that chance going round Petrovic, but Chelsea have got to take advantage of this sluggish City side right now.
Grealish on the near touchline has come over to get involved on the right side, combines with Bernardo Silva as Manchester City skate forward into the right wing position with Bernardo Silva again. Back to Kyle Walker, who's up over the halfway line trying to help out the attack. Foden plays it against Cucurella, the left back, and they give a goal kick. Foden can't believe it. He thought he was getting another corner there. It's not forthcoming for Manchester City, and Chelsea have the dead ball. City haven't kept a clean sheet since they drew 0-0 with Arsenal last month. They've won 4-1 against Villa since then, 4-2 against Palace, 5-1 against Luton, and they drew 1-1 with Real Madrid. But keeping teams out hasn't been possible in any of the 5 matches since that Arsenal game, when Arsenal barely threatened their goal, really. It sort of lends itself to the wider point that I was making earlier, that the defence just hasn't looked as solid as it did towards the end of last campaign.
No, and it was a sloppy goal to give away against Real Madrid, really, wasn't it? You know, they'll be kicking themselves. So much the better side than Real Madrid. Player for player as a team. You know, Madrid side, this is Real Madrid we're talking about, just quite happy to sit back. Defence v attack, can you break us down? We're almost playing for penalties from a very early situation. And just like 2 years ago, I think City will be kicking themselves.
Here's Enzo Fernandez winning the ball in the middle of the park. Akanji lost it, but then Rodri won it back, and it's Foden onto the right, where it's collected by Bernardo Silva, who motors into the penalty area, tries to bend one towards the far corner, but didn't get enough whip on that, too high, and goes wide of the goal away to our right. 34 goal.
Well, City fans won't like the comparison, but it was almost trying to do a Norman Whiteside from back in the day, with his left foot, just use the defender, whip it round him into the side netting. Again, he's not really got on the ball very much, has he? He's a player I love to watch.
Norman Whiteside? Yeah, not for a while. Those of you who are wondering what he's talking about, go back, stick it in Google. But he had a very good left foot, and he was a FA Cup hero, wasn't he? Because he scored in a final very young.
Absolutely.
Here is Gusto down the right hand side, ball played into the air. It's a poor ball again, but it comes back to Madueke fortuitously. He tries to shoot when really he should have tried to square it, and Manchester City survive again. Chelsea getting in behind down that right hand side and just not utilising the ball with the crispness and the sharpness and the precision that is required to open up Manchester City.
So they're not at it, City. They're not at it at all. As I say, Chelsea have to take advantage. It wasn't the best of balls at all from Gusto. Jackson was in.
I think the referee has noticed that there is a punctured ball, so we're going to have our first substitution of the day. And the punctured ball, which I think was down to Cole Palmer stepping on it, has been kicked into touch, and we'll restart with an uncontested ball for Manchester City inside their own half. But 10 minutes gone, and as you say, if Chelsea don't end up taking advantage of this situation, they will be kicking themselves, because a bit like their last trip to Wembley, they played a Liverpool team that weren't at their best because they were robbed of so many players, and they didn't take advantage of that. They didn't take the chances that they had here that day, were limp in extra time and ended up losing out as a result. Today, they can't afford the same scenario to play out.
Yeah, and I remember being here a couple of seasons ago where it was the FA Cup semi-final, Crystal Palace-Chelsea. And Chelsea just come off the back of the game against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu, and really it looked like they were going to do it. They didn't. It took a lot out of them, and the travelling on top of that. And I remember, people thinking that 0-0 half-time, Palace have done well, and I'm thinking, no, I really need to make sure you're a goal ahead. Chelsea wouldn't be as bad in the second half, and they weren't. They went on to win it, and this could happen here.
Good football by Chelsea. Jackson into Cucurella, then to Gallagher, then Cucurella again, and then Caicedo almost got beyond the stumbling Ake. The ball then worked its way to Madueke on the right-hand side, but again Chelsea getting to the edge of the penalty area very well and not making the most of the chance, because it was just a bit scruffy on the edge of the box again.
It's that final pass, isn't it? Just not quite right.
Here's Madueke to finding Chalobah down the right side, pulls it back to Palmer, edge of the area, a little jink into the box, a left-footed shot, saved by the goalkeeper down to his right. He pushes it away and back into the 18-yard box, and it's cleared away by Grealish. Good chance for Chelsea. Palmer drawing a save from Ortega, and it was an excellent little shuffle onto his right foot, and then the shot with his left, and Chelsea with another opportunity that goes a-begging at Wembley, 0-0.
And then City try and play out, and ends up being a tackle. Chelsea thought they had the ball. Chelsea absolutely on top here. They really are. It's the first time we've seen Cole Palmer getting the ball in the final third, isn't it? Did really well. It was Trevor Chalobah almost playing like a right winger. He does a great bit of skill around Rodri. Just aims for the far post.
Rodri
Decent save, wasn't it?
Very careful there, because as he went away from him, Rodri attempted to grab him round the midriff, then I think realised he was in the penalty area.
And he let go, didn't he?
And he just let go at the right time. Manchester City 0, Chelsea 0. 37.5 minutes on the clock on Talksport. And Chelsea, who are at their second home really over the course of the last few seasons. They've played here quite a number of times. In fact, only Manchester United have played more neutral games at the new Wembley than the club from Stamford Bridge, whereas of course if you include Tottenham in that, I think they've had a few more, but they rented the place, so it doesn't really count. They've been here for cup finals and semi-finals. And they've got an unwanted record of playing in 6 straight cup finals and losing them all. It hasn't been a happy hunting ground in the recent past, but over the course of, what is it now, nearly 18 years that the stadium has been open, they've enjoyed their visits more often than not. Manchester City certainly have. They send the ball forward now with De Bruyne. De Bruyne looking to get the ball in behind for Alvarez, and it comes through to Petrovic, and Chelsea have it deep inside their own territory. Chelsea want to give themselves a chance of a trophy. 2 cup finals, a top 6 finish, and that would certainly change the view. It would paint the season in a different colour. It's not entirely fanciful, even if it is a little optimistic that that's possible.
I was listening to you and Crookie and Dean Ashton and the All Access podcast when you used that as a hypothetical question. He bit on it, didn't he?
Oh, he didn't like it. He didn't like the prospect of Manchester United slipping further down the table.
But it is possible. It's possible United could finish 6th. It's possible Newcastle could finish 6th. It's possible Chelsea could finish 6th. It's possible. But I would say Chelsea have some very difficult games from now to the end of the season. So that's why, even if it's top 8 with winning the FA Cup, that would still give a lot of confidence going into next season.
Manchester City have still got their eyes on a double. And despite the fact that they haven't been at their best in the opening 40 minutes of this game, no damage has been done yet by Chelsea. Here is Enzo Fernandez just deep inside his own half, getting it back to Thiago Silva. Pops it forward to Palmer. Palmer always takes care of the ball so well. Sends it back to Silva. A bit of space for Gallagher. Pops it off to Enzo Fernandez halfway, just left of the centre circle. Then a long raking ball to the right-hand side, asking a bit of Madueke, who does brilliantly to keep it in, actually. Not once, but twice. Gets to the byline. Into the penalty area now, Madueke. Sets it back for Gusto's. Cross is too heavy, and then it's chested down by Walker to his goalkeeper at the far post.
Yeah, there was no one there at the far post, was it? And I like Malo Gusto. I think he's a very, very good player. In fact, the biggest compliment I can give him is that if Reece James were fit, I'd still keep Gusto in the side.
That is a big compliment.
Adrian Durham just looked at me. I'm not quite sure if that's disgust or just an enigmatic look.
He just likes the look of you. Here
he likes my hair.
Is Stones, does he?
Well, he went on about it earlier, didn't he?
He did. He was talking about that. He was suggesting you were wearing a Chelsea hat, and then he realised it was your hair. I wondered if you'd had a blue rinse.
I'll ask Nicholas Jackson how to do it.
Yeah, well, he certainly has got one down the left side of his hair. Let's go back down to the area behind the Chelsea goal. Our chief football correspondent Alex Crook is there. Anything happening?
Well, all of the Chelsea fans on their feet. I have to say they're a bit more subdued than they were earlier in the game, but lots of oohs and ahs. Those big chances went begging. It does feel like Manchester City are there for the taking this afternoon, doesn't it?
And Grealish has got the ball over on the far side. Manchester City are a bit like Real Madrid. You're never really in control of the game against them because they've got the ability to pull something out of the bag, and Chelsea will be well aware of that. Here are Manchester City on the right side with Rodri back to Walker. Walker shuffling it back to halfway. They were so disappointed by what happened on Wednesday night. I was at that game and afterwards coming out talking to everybody. They felt that pain. Here's Grealish, edge of the area, onto Foden, then to Brunner, and he was inside the box and then shuffled it backwards, and he wasn't to a light blue shirt, it was to a royal blue shirt. And that was a bit of disappointment. Maybe he could have taken that on into the penalty area.
He made the wrong option, didn't he? And it's not like Kevin De Bruyne. Grealish was in.
Here is Foden down the left-hand side. Was he taken to the floor by Caicedo? He was, and the free kick has been given to Manchester City in De Bruyne territory. Left-hand side, about 6 yards outside the box. It was a silly free kick to give away.
Especially when you're on top and you know you're up against a City side who, as you rightly say, can hurt you. Again, I was disappointed for City, and I'm no City fan. I really felt they could have gone and won the Champions League and come back to back with that. But they are very much. If you don't kill them off, they will come at you and they'll get you.
It's such an unnecessary foul from Caicedo. He kicked out at Phil Foden, completely missed the ball gone, and he's given away a free kick in what is a dangerous area here, because standing over it, Kevin De Bruyne and Phil Foden, and they are 7 yards now outside the penalty area, wide on the left. They'll arc this one from left to right into the penalty area behind the Chelsea defence, looking to try and see if they can get someone onto it, but it was too heavy from Foden, goes over the top of the Chelsea back line and then floats out and away for a goal kick away to our right-hand side. That's a bit of a waste.
Wow, that's exactly the word I was going to use. What a waste. When you talk about De Bruyne and Foden and the quality they've got in their feet, when they just overhit the cross like that, you don't expect it. It's almost get to half-time, looking at pictures of Pep Guardiola. He's pacing up and down, looking at the floor, shaking his head. You know, he won't be happy with that first half. That can only improve in the second.
A lot of supporters now have seen enough of the first half and going out to get their refreshments. But here's De Bruyne, edge of the D, trying to get into the box. Was he fouled on the edge of the box? He's gone down. The referee says no. Chelsea bring the ball away. Out on this left-hand side. Cucurella centrally into Enzo Fernandez. He then switches the play out towards the Chelsea right. Madueke and Gusto. Well, they didn't know which one of them was going to go for it. Madueke was coming back from an offside position anyway, so it's a free kick to City. They get it moving quickly. Here is Grealish into De Bruyne. A slip by Grealish. Oh, he's been pulled back by Madueke, is it? Or is it Enzo Fernandez? It's going to be a yellow card for Enzo Fernandez, the first of the game.
Yeah. Caicedo. He's pulled him back.
Well, it was Caicedo who gets the yellow card, yes. And Caicedo, who actually did that trip just moments ago, he deserves the yellow card for two rather silly fouls, I think.
Again, you're just asking the quality of these players, especially after what was just been a very poor free kick. There's another go, right on half-time.
Yeah, and we are literally seconds away from half-time. An unnecessary clothesline from Caicedo. Into the box it goes towards Stones, who heads it down, but it's cleared away by Chelsea. Again, Manchester City didn't fashion a chance from that set piece, didn't really look like fashioning a chance from that set piece. Thiago Silva intervened as the ball came down from Stones. Out to the right side, Bernardo Silva has it. Now Foden looking to twist and turn away into a shooting position. Goes to Bernardo Silva instead. The ball takes a deflection off Cucurella. He gets it back again, the Portuguese, and then feeds to Brunner, who then tries to just feed the ball into the box over the top of the defence. But again, the delicate twisting ball that was floated towards the back edge of the 6-yard box was missing everybody, and it floats out of play and out for a goal kick away to our right. We've got 2 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. Scott Minto.
Yeah, the touch just isn't there for Manchester City in this first half, is it? Right idea, but just overhit again by Kevin De Bruyne, who probably has been City's best player. I just feel the chances that Chelsea have had, they'll be sitting there at half-time thinking, hope we don't rue those missed chances.
Ball forward to Jackson, who's taken it down away from Rodri. Palmer couldn't get on the end of the pass, and he's frustrated because he thought it was coming back his way from Gallagher. Chelsea missed the opportunity to capitalise on that. Walker brings it out towards the near touchline. Now it's Bernardo Silva. Infield it goes to Carl Walker, who switches the play from the halfway line out to the left. Gusto clear, down by Jackson, Madueke, and then on to Gusto once again. He runs up to halfway. There's a little bit of excitement from the Chelsea support as they knit together another bit of play. Jackson to Gusto wide to Gallagher, up to the left edge of the area, cuts infield, needs to release it. He's run down a bit of a cul-de-sac, gives it to Enzo Fernandez. Palmer's got it back. Now it's with Caicedo, then it's on to the right. Chelsea on the attack with Madueke, right edge of the Manchester City penalty area. Madueke twisting away from Grealish, giving it back to Caicedo. We've nearly played out 2 minutes of added time. Chelsea, if they're going to fashion a chance here, need to do it quickly. Enzo Fernandez, Chalobah, back towards the centre circle. Patient play by Chelsea, but it came to nothing. That's half-time, and it's goalless. And Manchester City would not have expected anything other than a tough test from the side that they are yet to beat this season. But on this evidence, they need to raise their game just a little bit. There is a lot of work to be done for both, and really there hasn't been enough work done by either goalkeeper in that first 45 minutes. At the break, it's Manchester City 0, Chelsea 0.
Big defeat today for Luton Town in the Premier League. Big win for Burnley at the same time. Relegation in the EFL for Port Vale and Fleetwood, and in the National League for Bournemouth. All the classifieds are coming up during this half-time interval, but as the players leave the field here at Wembley, a lot of fans had already left their seats because they weren't impressed with what was going on. I was quite engaged with that first half, to be honest with you, Scott Minto. I thought it was really good, but we could have a situation this season where Manchester City win nothing. Sam's right, they've definitely got to up their game in the second half.
No, absolutely. It's not something I didn't expect, to be honest with you, Aidan. I wanted Chelsea to be on the front foot in the first half, and they have had chances, but you're looking at very good, world-class players who sometimes are not even able to make a 10-yard pass or a free kick in the place where they want it to be, or just look leggy. You can't begin to understand how much that would have taken out of them, the game against Real Madrid. Again, not from a mental point of view, because these guys have been there, seen it, done it, they're winners. But from a physical point of view, 90 minutes plus another 30, being on the front foot all the time, and then losing on penalties, you wouldn't have slept that night. You've got to warm down the next day, warm up the following day, and travelling down to London, and you're playing here at Wembley. I wasn't surprised at seeing that, and I just feel that Chelsea will be the ones who will not be happier, because I believe City will come out and be a lot better in the second half.
Yeah, Chelsea might have missed their opportunity, and they had opportunities in that first half. You and I are both self-confessed Nicholas Jackson fans, but he's let us down with that chance. He's one-on-one, he has to score, doesn't he?
He's let us down, Aid. We'll have to get a message to him, won't we?
You do that.
Do you know what? It's just, he's let himself down. And he's a guy who's been thrust in. If you think about where he's come from and the history he's had, and how he wasn't like an apprentice. He wasn't in the academy. He's still learning really how to play professional football in terms of certainly the striker's role. But even if he was a wide player, which he was to Villarreal at times, he wants to play up front. He wants to be that number 9. I think he's a year or two away from being a Chelsea number 9. As weighs heavy. There's been some big names who have come to Chelsea in that position and not quite been able to deal with it. There's always been that sort of Didier Drogba in the background, and Diego Costa as well. But look, you've got a one-on-one situation. You know the centre-back's not catching you because you know you've got the pace on him. And then it's about having that ice-cold mentality that a Cole Palmer does have. You know, a Michael Owen, someone like that. Don't go round the keeper because, you know, that's going to be an extra touch or two, and it's going to give the ability for the defenders to get back on the goal line, which is what happened. Have the confidence in yourself, know what you're going to do. I think even Alan Brazil said it, you know, count to 3 as you're running. And then on the third one, you should be nice and calm and composed and get the finish in. And he didn't do that because he doesn't quite believe in himself because he's not a real world-class striker yet.
I tell you who does believe in himself, Cole Palmer. There was that injury issue and he's carried on. He's played the whole of the first half. On 36 minutes, he did a little jink in the box, forced a save. The little jink, by the way, was past Rodri. You know, it was no mug that he was jinking past. In the box, flashed a shot that made Ortega get down and make the save. I thought it was a piece of brilliance.
It was, and you kind of want him on the ball a little bit more, and we don't know how much that thigh injury is really curtailing him. You know, is it 90% Cole Palmer and actually still very difficult to break City down, or is it a 60% at the moment and he can't quite get on the ball? You get him on the ball as much as possible and things happen. But it was a great bit of skill, as you say. You know, Rodri looked heavy-legged, didn't he? You don't often see people go past him in the way that Cole Palmer did, but Palmer has the ability to do that. And then it was a decent shot. I think Ortega should have saved it, but I just feel that Chelsea have been very much on the front foot. They've looked the most dangerous, apart from that one moment from Phil Foden where he went round Petrovic and just took that extra touch. Really, it's Chelsea who should be at least a goal up.
Yeah, Chelsea have been on top. There was, you're right, that Foden chance, and Kevin De Bruyne's champagne pass through into the box for him was something to behold. It was very, very special indeed. But half-time, Man City 0, Chelsea 0 in the first of the 2 FA Cup semi-finals this weekend. Coventry, Manchester United live on Talksport tomorrow. Join us at Box Park Wembley for the build-up from 2 and from 12 rather, and inside Wembley Stadium from 2 o'clock. And tonight, Wolves-Arsenal is at 7:30. I'll remind you of all the results from earlier today next on Talksport.
The Emirates FA Cup live on Talksport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup and Adobe Women's FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly.
You may not know that you have the power to compare great loan deals with Compare the Market.
Oh, I've got one. Did you know there's no word that rhymes with wolf?
Carl, we're talking about loans.
But it's another thing people may not know.
Meerkat your loan with the power to compare. We'll check your eligibility without it affecting your credit score, with a range of deals available. Find a loan that's right for you.
Move, Zulf. Oh, wolf! Oh, no, that's the word.
Compare the Market Limited acts as a credit broker, not a lender. Credit is subject to status, UK residents and 18 plus only.
Teething, nap times. A lot of things can keep parents up at night, but it won't be the prices at Asda's baby and toddler event now on until 21st of April. We've got Pampers Pants 33 pack, was £10, now £4.50. Or a Dream Baby carrier at an amazing £20. And get 10% back in your rewards cash pot on baby products when you join the Baby and Toddler Club through the Asda Rewards app.
Asda. That's more like it. Selected stores subject to availability. Requires app, email and registration. Mobile charges and exclusions may apply. Asda Rewards excludes George.com. Full T's and C's asda.com/rewards/terms.
With the all-new Mini Countryman, everything just got bigger. That means Mini's biggest electric range. Bigger technology and bigger adventures. With space for everybody. Even him. He's a good boy. And all this bigness comes from a Mini. The new Mini Countryman, our biggest Mini ever. Book your test drive today. Electric range 245 to 287 miles. WLTP figures of comparison purposes. Real life results may vary. Test drive subject to status and availability.
Imagine, it's Saturday. 1 minute you're lying on the sofa, horizontal, in your pyjamas, trying to guess which celeb is dressed up as a singing chicken, eyeing up the last sweet and sour pork ball. And the next, prawn crackers, you're a millionaire. Lotto, will you be next? Play on app, the National Lottery. Account terms, rules and procedures apply. Players must be 18 or over.
You know, finding your best summer shouldn't be so hard. Scan your next Coca-Cola Zero Sugar and play for a chance to grab your pass to summer's biggest events, including music festivals, the UEFA Euro 2024 and the Olympic Games Paris 2024. GB 18 plus only. Promotion ends 19th of May. For full T's and C's, visit coke.co.uk/app/summer 2024.
Are you an absolutely huge fonter or a zoom-inner? Perhaps you're an arm stretched out like a zombie when holding a newspaper, or a squint so tightly at the menu the waiter thinks you're sleeping. At Specsavers, we get it. You don't want to admit it's time to become a glasses wearer. That's okay. We're ready to see you whenever you're ready to see properly. Book an eye test at specsavers.co.uk so you can see clearer. Okay, we'll stop with the now.
The McDonald's Chicken Big Mac is back, but not for long. So don't miss out on the 3 layers of soft bun. Don't miss out on the iconic, delicious Big Mac sauce, those crisp, tender chicken patties, that fresh shredded lettuce, that melty cheese. And don't miss those delicious gherkins, unless you want to take them out. Don't regret it. Get it. From 11 a.m. until the 28th of May. Subject to availability, participating restaurants only.
Of the humdrum.
FA Cup Game Day Live
on Talksport. This is Game Day. Full-time classifieds.
In the FA Cup semi-final, half-time, Manchester City 0, Chelsea 0. Second half coming up live on Talksport. Premier League today, Luton 1, Brentford 5, Sheffield United 1, Burnley 4. Wolves Arsenal is at 7:30. It's live and exclusive on Talksport. Championship, Leicester 2, West Brom 1, Cardiff 2, Southampton 1, Huddersfield 0, Swansea 4, Norwich 1, Bristol City 1, Rotherham 0, Birmingham 0, Stoke 3, Plymouth 0, Sunderland 0, Millwall 1, Watford 0, Hull City 0, and at half-time it's QPR 1, Preston 0. League 1, Northampton 1, Exeter 2, Blackpool 3, Barnsley 2, Bolton 2, Port Vale 0, Port Vale relegated, Bristol Rovers 0, Peterborough 2, Burton 3, Reading 2, Cambridge 0, Derby 1. Derby need a point next Saturday to secure promotion. Their game at home to Carlisle at 12:30 is live on Talksport 2. Carlisle 1, Wickham 3, Charlton 1, Shrewsbury 1, Cheltenham 1, Lincoln 2. If Cheltenham don't beat Peterborough Tuesday, they will be relegated. Leyton Orient 0, Fleetwood 1. Fleetwood, despite that win, are relegated. Portsmouth 1, Wigan 2. League 2, Crewe 0, Wrexham 3, Doncaster 4, Barrow 2, Grimsby 2, Swindon 0. Harrogate 3, MK Dons 5, Mansfield 2, Gillingham 1, Morecambe 1, Forest Green 2, Newport 0, Salford 1, Notts County 1, Colchester 0, Stockport 4, Accrington 2, Sutton 2, Crawley 2, Sutton not quite relegated, but if Colchester avoid defeat Tuesday, Sutton will be down. Tranmere 3, Wimbledon 2, Walsall 2, Bradford 3, National League, Altrincham 1, Oxford City 0, Barnet 4, Kidderminster 1, Borehamwood 0, Ebbsfleet 0, Borehamwood relegated, Chesterfield 3, Maidenhead 2, Dagenham and Redbridge 3, Aldershot 3, Dorking 3, Hartlepool 4, Eastleigh 0, Halifax 3, Halifax take the final playoff place, Gateshead 2, Bromley 1, Oldham 2, Wealdstone 3, Solihull Moors 1, York 0, Southend 1, Rochdale 2, Woking 3, AFC Fylde 0, National League North, Banbury 0, Tamworth 3, Bishop Stortford 0, Curzon Ashton 0, Curzon Ashton make the playoffs, Blythe Spartans 1, Brackley Town 5, Blythe Spartans relegated, Chester 0, Darlington 0, Farsley Celtic 2, Buxton 0, Gloucester 1, Scunthorpe 2, Hereford 0, Boston 2, Boston in the playoffs, Peterborough Sports 1, Chorley 3, Russell Olympic 0, Warrington 0, Scarborough 0, Alfreton 1, South Shields 3, Southport 0, Spennymoor 3, Kings Lynn 0. National League South, Aveley 2, Bath City 0, Aveley in the playoffs. Braintree 2, Eastbourne Borough 3, Chippenham Town 1, Chelmsford 1, Dartford 2, Truro 1, Dover 1, Yeovil 3, Maidstone 5, Hampton and Richmond Borough 1, Slough Town 1, Welling 1, Taunton 0, Hemel Hempstead 0, Tunbridge Angels 2, St Albans City 2, Torquay 5, Havant and Waterlooville 0, Weymouth 1, Farnborough 2, Worthing 4, Weston-super-Mare 2. In the Women's Champions League, Barcelona 0, Chelsea 1, second leg is next week, and Lyon 0, PSG 0 is the latest score, kicked off at 6. Women's Super League, Bristol City 0, Liverpool 1. Women's Championship, Blackburn 1, Watford 0. Scottish Cup semi-final, Aberdeen 3, Celtic win 6-5 on penalties. Scottish Championship, Arbroath 1, Morton 2, Dundee United 1, Ayr United 0, Dundee United all but promoted, their goal difference is insurmountable. Dunfermline 0, Queen's Park 0, Partick 4, Airdrie 0. Scottish League 1, Edinburgh City 1, Annan Athletic 2, Falkirk 2, Kelty Hearts 2, Montrose 1, Hamilton 2, Stirling 0, Queen of the South 0, and at half-time, Cove Rangers 0, Alloa 1. Scottish League 2, Bonnyrigg Rose 0, the Spartans 1, Clyde 2, Stenhousemuir 2, Elgin 1, Peterhead 1, Forfar 2, East Fife 1, Stranraer 0, Dumbarton 0. And in the Irish Premiership, Ballymena United 4, Newry City 0, Carrick Rangers 2, Loughgall 1, Cliftonville 2, Glentoran 0, Coleraine 0, Crusaders 2, and Dungannon Swifts 2, Glenavon 0. Right, let's take a look at the half-time highlights here at Wembley in partnership with Carling.
The Emirates FA Cup halftime highlights on Talksport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup and Adobe Women's FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly.
It is redemption time. Manchester City taken to the limit by Real Madrid, looking to keep alive the prospect of a double. Chelsea want to avoid double heartache at Wembley. There's a good pass by Alvarez into De Bruyne. That's an even better one to Foden, who rounds the goalkeeper, tries to put it into an empty net. It's cleared off the line by Cucurella. Jackson is in behind Stones. He faces up the goalkeeper, goes round him. He's taken it far too wide. He needs to set up someone on the edge of the penalty area and he can't find the pass.
That's where Nicholas Jackson, I think, hasn't quite got that striker's deadly instinct.
Goalless then at half-time that was, thanks to Carling.
The Emirates FA Cup halftime highlights on Talksport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup and Adobe Women's FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly.
Man City defender Ruben Dias going through a vigorous half-time warm-up. It looks like he is coming on for the second half. Straight after we're done here at Wembley tonight, we'll bring you yet another live commentary on the Talksport network. 60 live commentaries through this month of April alone. Title-chasing Arsenal, desperate to get their season back on track, travel to Molineux to take on Wolves. That's live on Talksport from 7:15. Kick-off at 7:30. We'll take you there on Talksport. And from 10 tonight, you can have your say on all the day's football action with Adam Cattrall and Aliakim Fenwa on a special Sports Bar Weekender on Talksport this evening. Just a reflection on those two games in the Premier League today. Luton 1, Brentford 5. Johan Visser with a couple of goals for Brentford. Ivan Toney wasn't even on the bench today, by the way. Sheffield United 1, Burnley 4. Big win for Burnley. 1 defeat in 7 now for them. They're 3 points off safety with 4 games to go. But Forest Everton do have games in hand on them. Burnley are now just 2 points behind third bottom Luton Town, who were hammered 5-1 at home by Brentford. As Manchester City make their way out for the second half, we've got Coventry against Man United, the second FA Cup semi-final. And that's tomorrow, live on TalkSport, coverage from Wembley Box Park in the warm-up with Jason Cundy and Flex, who's a Man United fan. That's from midday. And then live pitch side build-up with me and the former Coventry defender Stuart Pearce from 2 o'clock. And a reminder of some of our championship commentaries as well. It's getting tight down at the bottom of the championship. Tomorrow lunchtime, Blackburn against Sheffield Wednesday, 12:30 kick-off. That's on TalkSport 2. Monday night, Middlesbrough Leeds commentary live on TalkSport 2. Tuesday night, Leicester Southampton's live on TalkSport 2 as well. Now, if Leeds lose and Leicester win, Leicester will be promoted to the Premier League. We are the only national radio station that brings you EFL commentaries and QPR Leeds next Friday night on TalkSport 2. We're back out at Wembley. We've had no goals so far, but we have had chances. None have been taken. It's Chelsea 0, Manchester City 0. Second half live here on TalkSport from Wembley Stadium with FA Cup winner Scott Minto alongside Sam Matterface.
Thank you, Adrian. Yes, welcome back. One change at half-time. John Stones, who I think we mentioned didn't look at it today, has been replaced by Ruben Dias. Are you surprised, Scott Minto?
No, I'm not surprised it's the only substitution as well. As I say, it's almost like they used that first half to get that lactic acid out of them. And I do feel City will be stronger, but in terms of John Stones, yeah, he looked a million miles away from being 100% fit. So I'm not surprised at all.
So that's the first change for Manchester City, the only change that we've had in the game so far. Diaz in at centre-half alongside Manuel Akanji, who's been strolling into midfield. I'll go through the two 11s for you in just a second. Chelsea have the ball on the near touchline. They're shooting from left to right in the second half, wearing their familiar royal blue jerseys with white socks. Enzo Fernandez just pushes the ball down the left side of the box. There is a little bit of afters as Gallagher tries to challenge Walker as he clears the ball to halfway. He's gone down after getting a whack in the side. The referee says play on. De Bruyne's got it on the halfway line. It goes out, and they're just going to check that he's okay, Conor Gallagher. So the Chelsea team now looks like this. Jordan Petrovic is the goalkeeper. The back four, Gusto, Chalobah, Silva and Cucurella. Enzo Fernandez and the Book Moises Caicedo in midfield, with Gallagher playing on the left-hand side, Madueke on the right, and Palmer just behind Jackson in attack. As far as City are concerned, light blue jerseys with white trim, white shorts and light blue socks. Attacking the goal away to our left in the second half where their fans are. They've got Ortega in goal, Walker, now Diaz, Akanji and Ake, Rodri holding, De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva, and that's a poor kick away by Ortega, which comes straight to Madueke, edge of the penalty area, cuts in left-footed, tries to bend it in the top corner, he overhits it, and it goes well wide of the goal away to our right. The rest of the team, Foden, Alvarez and Grealish. Here's Scott Minto.
Well, that was a really bad back pass for Ortega, and he should have just tried to kick it as long as possible. Not quite sure what he was trying to do. And in the end, it went straight to Madueke, who, you have to say, he's got to hit the target there. He's come inside on his left foot. He's no more than 20 yards out. If you're going to shoot and not pass, you have to hit the target at least.
It's a good opportunity for Madueke. Chelsea have had quite a few good opportunities over the game so far.
Sloppy again though, City, aren't they?
Yeah, haven't started the second half as I thought they might. I thought they might come out with a little bit more control, and they've given the ball away. Alvarez, the guilty party this time, straight to Gusto on halfway, races down the right touchline, gets towards the edge of the penalty area, looks to take on Ake, bounces off Ake, and he's still got it tight on the touchline, then tries to feed Madueke. Chelsea end up losing the ball and City do well to scrap it back, but then Palmer wins it back from Alvarez. The ball spirals into the air, it's all very scratchy down the left side, and eventually it runs to halfway and Fernandez tidies up. Thiago Silva through the centre circle to the left, and Cucurella tries to send Jackson in behind Walker. Walker scurries to get back with him, he's in the left channel now. Jackson moves away, gets to the byline, back to Cucurella. Chelsea in charge and on the ball once again. Thiago Silva, centre circle, plays it square into Moises Caicedo. What a week this is for Manchester City. It's a season-defining week possibly for them, especially bearing in mind that they're out of the Champions League already. Their job now to set up another FA Cup final and the possibility of a double. There is a counter point to that, an alternative scenario where they go out of this competition as well, and then by the time they take Brighton on Thursday night live on Talksport, they might well be 6 points or at least 4 points behind Arsenal in the race for the title.
Blimey, I hope no City fan was listening to that.
Here is Jackson down the left-hand side, played in by Gallagher, faces up the goalkeeper and misses another chance, saved down to his left by Ortega. It's a big opportunity that's gone a-begging. Now he's got another one at the far post, heads the ball down, saved by Ortega again, and he's missed 3 golden chances in the game, 2 in the space of a mere couple of seconds, Nicholas Jackson.
Oh, wow, Chelsea very much on top. Again, start the second half. Creating chances. Nicholas Jackson 2 in 1. He's got to put one of them away. Wasn't a bad shot. It was a very good save, but again, top class strikers. They stick it in the back of the net. They don't give the goalkeepers any chance at all.
Had to be a goal from Nicholas Jackson. It wasn't. And Chelsea still 0-0 with Manchester City here. But Chelsea, you feel, are taking control of the match. The problem is that when they have had these spells, they haven't taken advantage of it. And that's why it's still 0-0.
City will come at Chelsea, trust me. Again, they've started the second half. I thought they'd start better as well, but they've started the second half how they were in the first. Chelsea very much on top. Again, I repeat, I said it several times in the first half, Chelsea have to take advantage. I cannot believe that City will be this poor for the whole 90 minutes. They will step it up. They will get a lot better. Chelsea have to be a goal ahead.
It was a brilliant ball by Gallagher to feed Jackson down the left side. He got to the edge of the box. He was being chased, but he rushed his effort really. Ortega made the save, and then when it went out the other side, Gusto's cross was brilliant, and Walker again just lost his coordinates really of where Jackson was. Referee says play on because City have got the ball, despite the fact that Grealish has gone over Madueke's standing leg, as now City look to turn the attack burners on. They go down the right with Bernardo Silva, then on to De Bruyne, who hits it against Thiago Silva, and it goes away for a corner over on the far side. It remains goalless. You're listening to TalkSport.
I'll tell you what, Kevin De Bruyne is trying to get his City side going. Even he is struggling at the moment. And let's see what they can do with this corner. Again, when you're not playing particularly well, set pieces become even more important.
5 minutes gone second half. Here is the corner, the first of the second half for City. It's a poor delivery by Foden. It's away by Jackson, far side. Kept in by De Bruyne, who then actually asks too much of Foden, and Palmer is able to volley the ball over towards the far left and the halfway line. Retrieved by City. They have it. Back on halfway. Pochettino will be pulling his newly shorn hair out. He has had a fresh do for the occasion. And he will be slightly frustrated, I think, that shot from Nicholas Jackson didn't go in. Alex Crook was right behind it. What did it look like from behind the goal?
Well, I think he should have scored both, Sam, to be honest. The second chance, the cross that came to him at the far post, I think it just caught him by surprise, and it was a really meek attempt at a header. Massive let-off for Manchester City. These Chelsea fans being put through the ringer behind me.
It was a meek attempt with the shot, actually, as well, because he rushed it, didn't really get hold of it, and that allowed Ortega to get down to his left-hand side.
Do you know what I think with the shot? I think anyone else chasing him, he perhaps would have taken another touch, but he knew it was Kyle Walker behind him, and he had to take it reasonably early. So in the end, it was a decent shot, and it was a good save. The header, I think Crookie's right, he wasn't expecting it, and you have to expect it, because if it had just put it half a yard either side of Ortega, it was so close, he wouldn't have been able to react to it, the goalkeeper. It would have been 1-0.
0-0. He's picked it up on halfway again, and he's running forward here, trying to feed Cole Palmer. Doesn't reach him with the pass, and it's cleared away by Manchester City. Almost gave it away to Gallagher on the edge of the penalty area again, but didn't quite. And City bring it up down the right-hand side. Diaz, who's still settling into the game, out towards the right-hand side. It's with Bernardo Silva now. Chops back in, looks up, feeds Kevin De Bruyne, who's going down the right-hand side, a couple of yards in from the right touchline. Back in field it goes again to Rodri. Rodri clips it out towards the near touchline, taken on by Grealish, bit of room to manoeuvre into. He goes into the box, onto his right foot, sets up Foden, saved by Petrovic, down low to his right, and it's a good opportunity. And Foden there didn't look confident with his hit of the ball, actually. He maybe took it too casually. And again, it wasn't that venom in the shot or direct placement. It was a good save. Ball into the box by De Bruyne. It's blocked by Gallagher and goes out for a corner. And all of a sudden, the City fans think, well, after Chelsea gave them a bit of a let-off, now it's their chance to go at them.
Yeah. Is it a question of, OK, you've had your go at us, we're going to step it up now?
Chelsea have been eliminated 5 times from their last 7 FA Cup ties with Manchester City. But it's 0-0 at this moment in time. Here is Grealish, edge of the area from the corner, which again was a bit wasted. Alvarez, space for De Bruyne, and he's allowed to push the ball to the edge of the box, but Gallagher gets there, and then Palmer accelerates, and Jackson is off and running. It's him against Walker again, down the left side. Jackson holds on to it. Madueke arriving, so is Palmer. He's held the ball up on that left side of the area here, Nicholas Jackson. He's not going to beat Kyle Walker for pace, so he did the right thing on this occasion, held it up and waited for reinforcements. It's switched out towards the near side. Now it's with Gusto, who looks to take on Ake. Ake went towards him. Palmer picked the ball up. Madueke gets it on the edge of the area. Should go out to Gusto on the near side. There's a foul by Grealish in a dangerous position. And it's about 5 yards back from the edge of the area on the right-hand side. It's a Chelsea free kick.
Really good feet from Madueke. I have to say, Cole Palmer gave him the ball. He was looking for 1-2. And once he didn't play that 1-2 to him, Madueke had about 2 players around him. Then there was a third, and he still managed to just get the ball away with his quick feet. And Jack Grealish, in the end, lunging in what is a very dangerous position, just right-hand side of the goal. Maybe a bit too far out, 20, 25 yards out. Favours a left footer. Be some strike to get it in the goal from here, but you never know from that lad Palmer.
Well, I think he fancies his chances. Remember, he's got that strapping on his quad. He's standing over the ball, so is Gallagher. There's a 3-man Manchester City wall. It's way right of centre. He steps up, left foot. It's through the wall, and it takes a little nick to it and goes past the post. And they're absolutely incandescent, the Chelsea players. They thought that took a nick and went out for possibly not only a corner, but maybe a handball. And they are stopping the game to have a look at it on VAR.
Well, it's definitely hit the wall, so I don't know how he's not even given some kind of corner at the very least.
Well, Poch is furious as well. Well, it's definitely hit someone. It looked like it hit the left arm of someone in the wall there.
It's a Jack Grealish.
Yeah, his left arm was out. Did it make contact with the ball?
Well, you look at the ball and it's spinning. It's a really
cool handball.
It's a handball.
It's a handball. And surely it's going to go to VAR? Of course it's not.
Wow.
I mean, Adrian Dunn sitting to our left-hand side can't quite believe it. We've seen the replay of it. It hits an outstretched hand.
But it has gone to VAR. We've been waiting. The VAR said no. Computer says no.
I mean, there's 2 VARs in there, Stuart Atwell and David Coote today. I mean, could they not see it? I mean, is there any argument that hand was in a natural position?
No.
Or was it outside the natural silhouette of his body?
It was, and it's not as if it's come at him very, within 2 or 3 yards. They're 10 yards away.
He's in the wall, so he knows it's coming at him.
Exactly.
It's a big let-off. Remember, he got penalised in the FA Cup final for a handball that wasn't really a handball.
Yeah, I thought that was harsh.
He should have been penalised for a handball there, because it looks pretty blatant, actually, when you see it on the replay. The ball goes into the Chelsea box. There's a bit of tussling and a free kick given to Chelsea. That's a big moment in the semi-final.
Sam, that's massive. I have to say that's massive. In a game where you're playing what I believe is the best club side in world football, despite what happened in midweek. City are the best side in the world, in my opinion. And you've been on top, and they're not quite at it. Listen, Chelsea can only blame themselves for the chances they've already missed. But you need the officials to do their job. He's 10 yards away, his arm is out. The ball's spinning after it's gone past Jack Grealish. How can you not give a penalty for that?
Let's go behind the goal. Alex Crook was behind it. Did you see it?
I have to say I didn't see it instantly, Sam, but I've seen a replay like you guys. I think he's actually turned his body, Grealish. I think it's a definite penalty. The issue with VAR inside the stadium, these Chelsea fans, they're not angry because they've not seen the replay. They don't know how clear a handball that was.
It'll be interesting to see how they feel a little bit later on. The players, and Pochettino in particular, was absolutely insistent that he saw the handball initially. They were furious about it. It did look like it took a flick on the way through. I was actually just surprised that he didn't give a corner. I mean, there's definitely a failing there of the officials.
100%, there's no doubt that it hit Jack Grealish, because you could see the way the ball deflected and then spun in a different way afterwards. So how he didn't give a corner at least in the first place, but how VAR haven't given a penalty there where his arm is out, he's 10 yards away.
Palmer trying to rob Akanji inside the penalty area. Fernandez then fouls Akanji after he just about gets out of a tight spot. City break the press and move upfield towards halfway. Akanji gets back to his feet. 0-0, big moment in the semi-final. Chelsea denied a penalty. And it does look as if Manchester City, who aren't entirely happy with the way their team are functioning, are going to make a couple of substitutions, possibly in midfield. Kovacic and Nunez coming back from their warm-up away to our left-hand side. Here is Cucurella up to Gallagher, who tries to roll Kevin De Bruyne. The ball goes out of play. It's a Chelsea throw. 0-0. Chelsea's only defeat in the last 12 games in all competitions was in this stadium. The extra-time loss to Liverpool in the League Cup final on February the 25th. And Manchester City, who only have a 2-point lead at the summit of the Premier League, a lead that will most likely be cut by the time they feature next Thursday on Talksport against Brighton, either tonight by Arsenal or on Tuesday when Arsenal play Chelsea, another game which is live on Talksport. But it won't faze Pep, even if this might. Here's Grealish moving towards the edge of the area. His strike comes off the back of Chalobah and bounces away for a corner kick.
Well, the City fans are trying to get their team going, aren't they? They're wanting something to happen. But even up until now, when they've had a corner, even the corners have just been really poor coming in.
Chalobah trying to organise the defence, a defence which has got to deal with 4 City bodies inside the penalty area, now 5 with Bernardo Silva going in there as well. It's Alvarez's in-swinger towards the far post. It's Chalobah who heads it away, out into the left full-back position, but Bernardo Silva gets there ahead of Cucurella, who faces him up. He comes on the inside, sends the ball into the box. It comes away off the Chelsea head and then out towards the near touchline. Alvarez recycles it back into a congested penalty area. Grealish trying to get the ball down, but Madueke is there and he robs him. And then Palmer sends Jackson away, and he's in a foot race with Walker once again. He shrugs him off initially and then gets pushed to the floor by Walker, and Walker is going to get away with that. The referee immediately waved his hands and said no penalty. Jackson was looking for that. And on this near touchline, Ben Chilwell is in the ear of the linesman. The referee just checking with the video assistant referee to make sure he concurs, and he does too. And we play on.
Wow, again we're talking about even Carl Walker looking as if he can't quite catch Nicholas Jackson. No, I think that's a good shoulder to shoulder. His arm does come out a little bit, but he's a little bit behind him, isn't he? By the time he ends up, Nicholas Jackson goes down.
Here come Manchester City at the other end. A few warning signs for them. Grealish now into the penalty area, goes past Gusto, pulls the ball through the box, and it's away by Thiago Silva, and we can go off to Molineux for team news with Joe Shannon.
4 changes for injury-hit Wolves, including a first start for young midfielder Tawanda Chirua. Cunha is not fit enough, even for a very youthful bench. 3 changes for Arsenal, who go top of the Premier League with a win. Kivior, Trossard and Jesus for Tomiasso, Jorginho and Martinelli. Underway at 7:30 at Molineux.
Kivior in the team at left-back again. That's an interesting change. They've been chopping and changing that position throughout the course of the last few games. Arsenal trying to find the right formula. Will they find it today? We've got commentary from 7:30 live on Talksport this evening. Joe Shannon is there.
Such an important position, Sam.
Danny Mills as well. Yeah, left back. I know that it is the most important position on the field, isn't it, Scott?
It's up there.
Chelsea won the FA Cup because of the left back, I hear.
You may say that. I couldn't possibly comment.
1997. I remember it well. Here is Ake. I'm sure you don't remember it well because of the party afterwards. Here is
big party.
It's Grealish on the near side. He knows a thing or two about a big party. He plays it infield. It's cut out by Caicedo and centre halfway. Chelsea may be thinking about making a change themselves because they just looking over towards the right-hand side where Mudryk is warming up with Ben Chilwell going through his paces. It's not exactly a stacked Chelsea bench, it must be said. They do have Sterling on it, but he's not warming up at this moment in time. Here is Rodri out towards the near touchline. Oh, it's a poor ball by him. He's given it away. And he's shaking his head. He can't believe it. And he himself looks a little bit tired, actually, Rodri. And he did complain about that after the game in the Bernabeu. Had a rest last Saturday against Luton. Grealish has gone down now holding his knee. And he went down off the ball there, Grealish, and quite theatrically.
Yeah, look, there's no doubt about it. Again, I don't think anyone can quite understand what these City players have gone through. And I'm not just talking about in the last week, I'm talking about in the last 4 years. They are going for 4 straight Premier League titles, something that no one has ever done in the top flight football. Not the Liverpool side of the 80s, not any United side under Sir Alex Ferguson. And yet they're top of the league at this moment. And up until Wednesday, we're going for the double treble. Physically, such a difficult thing to go through. Mentally, to go again, to dig deep all the time. And there's no doubt about it, there is a little bit of collateral damage physically, I believe, from the game on Wednesday. They're just not at it. Even Rodri, the one you can absolutely rely on, is making a simple 10-yard pass look really difficult.
Jeremy Doku is coming on, I think, for Jack Grealish. He's just about to be introduced into the fray. And he will take the place of Jack Grealish on the left-hand side. I just wonder how troubling this injury is for Jack Grealish, who has been interrupted all season by moments where he's had to have a spell on the sidelines with knee and groin and hamstring issues, which have robbed him of a rhythm this campaign. Off comes Grealish and on comes Doku. That's the end of his afternoon, Jack Grealish. I don't think he wanted to come off, actually, despite the fact that obviously he's just had some treatment. But he's now been told to come over to the near touchline, and Doku is taking his place. The dazzling dribbler, who's already got 8 assists in a Manchester City jersey, slaps hands with his teammate, and Pep Guardiola gives him a huge hug. And the relationship between the two, I think, clearly is quite an intimate one, really. They get on quite well, Pep Guardiola and Jack Grealish.
He's a great guy, Jack Grealish. I've met him on several occasions when I was covering the Championship. And I'll go in to the Aston Villa tunnel with Lee Hendry and would chat to Jack, and you could just see what he's the same guy as he was as a kid, you can tell, and just loves football in exactly the same way. Sometimes professional football, especially in the league, can just take that love away from you. It's a job and the pressures, but he plays like he's still that 14, 15, 16-year-old kid, although he's having a go at the officials right now. He's not happy with the tackles clearly put on him.
He isn't happy with something, is he? And he's trying to get a message to the officials. I think it's not the 4th official. It's I think it's the Well, it might be the fourth official. No, the fourth official's out on the touchline. It's the reserve official who is getting in the neck down in the tunnel, which is
an official.
Which is certainly not something you see very often, actually, that Jack Grealish loses his rag like that, but he is. Here is Gallagher on the halfway line, sending the ball over the top for Jackson to chase once again. Akanji comes across, tussles with Jackson. The ball eventually goes out of play on this near side. The Swiss international concedes a throw-in high up inside his own territory. Manchester City 0, Chelsea 0. The ball on halfway to Chalobah. He squares it into the centre circle. Thiago Silva forward, poor pass by him, returned by Bernardo Silva with interest, and then Thiago Silva this time takes no chances and whacks the ball into the sky. But Gallagher immediately senses that there was a bit of hesitation from Ake, so charges down as he's his one. He's brilliant at that. He's excellent at inducing the press, and Ake had to force it back into the arms of Ortega.
I think just on Jack Grealish, even Pep Guardiola was having a go at the official there. He wasn't happy with Caicedo's tackle, where he made the tackle and followed through. I think he felt that there could have been at the very least a yellow card.
Well, he's already had a yellow card, Caicedo, as well, which is why...
Absolutely, and it would have taken him, and it has taken him out of the game.
Yeah, it's why I think he's a little bit frustrated about it. And they're still going on about it now, and it is the fact that he should have got a yellow card that is upsetting him. Here is Palmer with Caicedo bursting through the middle now. How ironic would this be if he could finish it? He sends the ball to the far post, and he looked very much like a player that hasn't scored since 2022. He went running down the right into the penalty area. His nose started to bleed, and the ball ended up being shovelled out of play for a rather tame goal kick.
I think he's just going to the sidelines to get some tissue for that blood on his nose. He was onside as well. What a wonderful opportunity. Never really believed in himself, especially with that first touch. But City do look vulnerable. They really do.
Here is Madueke on the edge of the area, trying to weave his way into the box. He feeds Palmer. Palmer trying to hold off the attentions of Diaz and Rodri, who are trying to rob him of the ball. The ball spills out of the penalty area that Chelsea are attacking, and Doku releases De Bruyne. We go up to halfway at 70 minutes on the clock. The last thing that Manchester City want now is another spell of extra time. They come forward down the right. They certainly want it more than a loss. Here's Doku, edge of the area, trying to attack now and get into the box. He goes past Gusto. He slaloms towards the edge of the 6-yard box. His shot is saved by Petrovic. Excellent play by Doku, who opened up the Chelsea defence there rather simply, running at them dangerously and dynamically, and then his shot was saved by Petrovic down low.
Well, it was brilliant when he came on the other night, and I actually thought he might well have started today. I'll tell you what, he's come on for Grealish again. It just adds such a different dimension. Grealish, a great ball carrier, but Doku's so direct, and he can happy to go inside or outside.
And he's gone on the outside of Gusto, and he's got the beating of him. He sets it up for Alvarez, back to De Bruyne. It's wide at the left-hand upright, a right-footed curler, which was aimed to the far post, but it was well wide. And Petrovic just stood there and watched it as it went flashing away. He knew it was going wide of the goal mouth.
Well, Kevin De Bruyne had a wonderful opportunity, didn't he, on Wednesday night to what would have ended putting the tie to bed, and he didn't. And that's not a dissimilar situation and opportunity. Great play from Doku, this time outside. The ball was laid back to Kevin De Bruyne. We were at Selhurst Park the other week, weren't we? Where it was a much more of a difficult opportunity, and he put it into the top corner.
He did, and he did that on the spin as well.
Absolutely, and he didn't hit the target there.
70 minutes on the clock. 0-0 Man City Chelsea semi-final of the FA Cup. Wolves against Arsenal later on tonight. Tomorrow we've got the second semi-final, Coventry against Manchester United. That game kicks off at 3:30. It's live on Talksport, the home of the FA Cup. No one broadcasts more games from the FA Cup than Talksport. Here's Akanji down the left-hand side. Low ball in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, steered away by Chalobah. Palmer brings it clear. Tries to feed Madueke, can't control it, and it goes out of play on this near side. And Ben Chilwell trying to encourage his teammates from the sidelines here as Chelsea struggling to deal with Doku down the left. Gusto gets back at him this time and manages to block the attempted cross. It goes out for a corner away to our left. 0-0 on Talksport with Chelsea and Manchester City in the FA Cup semi-finals with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18+, please drink responsibly.
Do you know what? Malagusta might just be having a word with Moises Caicedo and say, why did you make that tackle on Jack Grealish? I was quite happy coming up against him rather than Doku. The moment he's come on, he's looked so direct, hasn't he?
Yeah, and it looks like he's got an issue now as well. Malagusto, he's holding the back of his knee here after stretching and blocking that effort from Jeremy Doku, who's come off the bench. Been a busy day up and down the leagues in England with more victories for Leicester City. The Championship continues to thrill. They beat West Brom just on Talksport earlier. Ipswich in second. They're supposed to play Coventry City today, but couldn't, obviously, because they're playing tomorrow. They've got 89 points. Leeds, 87 points. I think Leicester, Southampton out of it now with 3 games to go, pretty much, because Leeds and Ipswich have got so many points on the board, so those two and Leicester vying for promotion to the Premier League. We'll bring you all the semi-finals from the playoffs as well as the 3 big finals from Wembley, all live on the Talksport network. In League One today, Fleetwood relegated. You'll have your say on all of today's football by calling 03717223344. And we've got a midweek of football from the Premier League. Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. We've got 2 games on Wednesday. Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. Live football from the Premier League here on Talksport. Here is Alvarez's corner from the near side. Chelsea down to 10 at the moment. It's floated towards the crossbar, underneath the crossbar. And Petrovic, despite the sun being in his eyes, managed to keep his eyes on the prize, brings the ball to his chest, and he will clear it away.
Well, Chelsea fans will be hoping that Malagusta will be okay. As I say, I think he's been absolutely sensational this season, I really do. And he's had another good game.
Can't afford to take a chance with him, though. If he's not 100%, he has to come off.
Well, what is 100%, Sam?
Well, all right, well, he's
Cole Palmer 100%.
He's got to be 110% to be able to deal with Jeremy Doku.
Yeah. He has, but I'd still take a 90% Malagusta, who's used to the pace and the tempo of this game than someone who, a Disasi, a Badiashile, even moving Kukureya to the right back.
Here is Jackson. A ricochet from Palmer has fed him 10 yards outside the box. He's dispossessed, but Madueke is going to strike the ball. It's going to hit Rodri and cannon to the halfway line. Chelsea with another attack which doesn't quite come off in their favour. They've had such golden opportunities in the game and not taken them. And are they going to be punished as a result of that? They've given them away cheaply far side. Fernandez, a poor pass into Kukureya, and it's out of play over on the far side. And it remains 0-0, Scott. 15 minutes, 16 minutes to go in the game. Someone's got to take the game by the scruff of the neck, haven't they?
Well, to be fair, they're certainly trying to, but absolutely. In the way this game's gone, Chelsea have had the majority of the chances. If City do win this 1-0, then you would say they'd have nicked it, but still, again, I cannot emphasise enough how much physically that game would have taken out of them against Real Madrid, where they were the better side. They were dominant. It was attack v defence. Ended up going to extra time and then penalties. Not from a mental point of view, but from a physical point of view. They've been off it today. The good sides still find a way to win. Chelsea be kicking themselves if they don't go through to the final now.
Well, Pep Guardiola has always taken the FA Cup seriously. He can become the 8th manager to win the FA Cup 3 times. The only non-Brit to do that is Arsene Wenger. Doku went down under pressure. Referee said no foul, and Chelsea take it to halfway. It was a little bit of a bounce on halfway. Madueke's been penalised for a foul. Actually, I think De Bruyne and Ake came together on the halfway line. I'm not entirely sure that was Madueke's fault. Anyway, the free kick's taken quickly, and it's sent down the left for Alvarez, in towards the left side of the penalty area. He backs the ball off to Doku, takes over, twists up against Chalobah. The ball bounces into the box, and Conor Gallagher will get it clear. Well, not really. He's given it straight to De Bruyne, who's charged his way into the box, but out comes Petrovic, grabs it from the sky, and Chelsea survive.
Brilliant defender from Chalobah, I have to say. I think he's so underrated. He's come through the academy. All the money that's been spent, not just in terms of the forwards and the midfielders, but defenders also. And yeah, I think as good as anyone there for Chelsea. I really do. And he defended against Doku inside the box excellently.
Kukureya's done brilliantly on the far side to win the ball for Chelsea. They have allowed play on here as Kukureya went to ground, and they've switched the play from the left side to the right, and now on the attack is Madueke feeding Malagusto, who sends the ball against Akanji, goes out of play, and it's a Chelsea corner. And For the first time in a little while, really, those Chelsea fans behind the goal away to our right, 37,000 of them, stand up and start to try and urge their team on. 37,000 Manchester City fans as well, all trying to get one of 3 trains back after the end of this game. Are going to be hampered if this goes to extra time. Going to be very difficult for them in terms of trying to get back to Manchester tonight.
Have you checked the last train? What time is it?
Yeah, it's just after 9 o'clock. I'm staying down, so
I was going to
okay.
say, I was looking at you. You're not going back to Manchester yourself?
Tomorrow I'll be scurrying up there. Not too distant.
So you're all right, Jack?
It looks like, Manchester United are going back tomorrow as well, so it'll be quite a busy service going back there then. Conor Gallagher places the ball down away to our right-hand side. Ake's got to change his boots here, Alex Crook.
Yeah, there's a problem. The Manchester City goalkeeper as well, Sam. Stefan Ortega down inside the 6-yard box. Looks like he's got a problem with his right leg, and I wonder if he will need some treatment as well. And keep an eye on Cole Palmer. He's had 1 or 2 nervous looks over to the Chelsea bench. I've just seen him rubbing his hamstring as well as this second half has gone on. It's like a scene from Casualty out there at the moment.
Well, we had a discussion about this, didn't we, at half-time, actually, and whether or not the intensity of the games that we've seen this season have taken their toll, and we're starting to see the evidence of that now.
100%. 100%. Look, Arsenal, Bayern Munich, Arsenal still learning how to play in Europe. You're not quite sure how that was going to go, despite it being a poor Bayern Munich side. But in terms of City, Liverpool as well, I definitely think that the intensity of the Premier League has caught up with them.
Yeah, and also the fact that games are going on for so much longer now as well, which is also going to be taxing. I mean, over the course of the season, if you think you're playing an extra, usually 10 minutes a game, that's 380 extra minutes over the course of a season. Here is Gallagher to swing the ball in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Silva tried to get there. It was over his head. It was defended well by City. Back in it goes by Gusto. Gusto in towards Palmer. Palmer's offside as he tries to nudge it towards goal. Ortega's okay, and we play on. There's going to be Chelsea changes though, and it does look like Disasi is going to come on. Will he replace Malagusto? If he does, it'd be interesting to see whether he goes into the right-back zone or whether it's actually Chalobah who comes out there. Mudryk is coming on for Madueke, so maybe a bit more direct running from Mudryk, who's definitely got talent, hasn't maybe displayed it as much as Chelsea fans thought he was going to when he came off the bench to great fanfare at Anfield. Not last January, the January before. But it'd be interesting to see what he brings. Disasi comes on from Gusto.
Yeah. Just having a look. So Malagusto's come off. He's not quite right. And Axel Disasi is going to play right back. And I'm telling you now, he's going to need to communicate to people around him and in front of him to make sure he doesn't get isolated one-on-one.
Disasi playing right back, as you say. It'll be interesting to see how he deals with Jeremy Doku. Here is Akanji back to Diaz. Diaz trying to clear it. The pressure is on from Conor Gallagher, and the ball is smuggled behind. They'll wait for a goal kick because it's hit Gallagher, who is leading the press. He's now trying to turn up the temperature behind the goal, encouraging the supporters of Chelsea to get behind their team.
Yeah, what I would say is, as much as Chelsea have had a lot of chances in this game, and as much as City have been far off the team that we know they can be, and just in the last 5-10 minutes Chelsea haven't really had many chances. They haven't tested Ortega too much. I think City would be delighted with that, but you're right, the one thing you would expect, that if there's a team that doesn't want to go into extra time, it's City, and a team that does, it's Chelsea, because they've had that almost free week, and yet we know what happened in the Carabao Cup final.
I was going to say, they'd have to be better than their last extra time spell, where they were pretty tame in the League Cup final against Liverpool, a game that Liverpool won. There's 10 minutes to go here. Extra time, a real possibility. We will focus on this until its conclusion, even if that is via penalties, and it takes us past the 7:30 mark, which is when we're supposed to be at Molineux. Here is Foden down the right-hand side. pushing the ball into the path of Bernardo Silva. Back to Foden again, left edge of the area, sends it square, onto Ake. Ake charges into the box, he feeds Doku now. Doku taking on Disasi for the first time. Is he going to beat him on the outside or the inside? He goes on the outside towards the byline, and then he can't get away from Disasi, so he sends it back to Ake. De Bruyne, back to Ake again. His cross into the box is steered away by Chalobah, and Chelsea managed to push the ball out of harm's way.
First of all, brilliant defending from Disasi, but second of all, Ake just got to get the ball to Doku again and let him have a go at Disasi again.
Here is Bernardo Silva on the right side for Manchester City. 0-0 the score with 9 to play on Talksport in the semi-final. Bernardo Silva to Foden. Foden trying to turn into De Bruyne. De Bruyne trying to get the ball out towards the near touchline. Ake tries to motor up towards the edge of the area. Looks to go on the inside this time. Again, Disasi got his angles right. Rodri, edge of the box, sends it square. Lots of City pressure here. Silva down the right, feeding Akanji, pulls it back. Alvarez miskicks it over the bar.
I'll tell you what, that was City at their best up until that shot. The way they just kept on passing it around, Chelsea trying to come out, and Rodri, great skill, looking like he's going to shoot, but no, laid it in a better position. And the ball ended up going inside the box still, but on the right-hand side, the cutback. And Alvarez, and we spoke with Adrian before the game about Haaland, and would it be a big miss? Well, he hasn't made an impact on this game, has he, Alvarez?
No, not at this moment in time. And it's interesting, there were so many narratives before the game. The two joint top scorers in the Premier League coming face to face. Well, Haaland isn't here today. And then it was Foden and Palmer, the two number 10s. And neither of those really have sort of grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck, maybe because Palmer isn't 100% fit. Petrovic has been booked for wasting time away to our left-hand side. We'll have to keep a note of that, because if it goes to a penalty shootout, we could need to know how many yellow cards people have got after what happened on Thursday night. Phil Foden, I mean, I think the suggestion there was Phil Foden was the one that was booked. The television had put the caption up for Phil Foden. I thought they were having a go at Petrovic for taking too long.
I thought it was Enzo Fernandez, but it should have been Adrian Durham.
It was someone. Here on the left-hand side, the ball is with Doku. In towards De Bruyne. Pulls it through the area. Bernardo Silva is at the back post, and he doesn't miss this time. He missed the big penalty in the game with Real Madrid, but he takes his chance at Wembley. And after the treble fell off track, the double comes into sharp focus again for Manchester City. The game where they've been behind the 8 ball. They needed some sort of intervention, and Bernardo might have provided the silver lining. 1-0, 7 minutes to play. Manchester City in front.
Well, look, Chelsea have only themselves to blame, but that is classic Manchester City. Doku gets the ball on the left-hand side. De Bruyne then, for the inside run, gets to the byline, cuts it across goal. And then suddenly Chelsea are just scrambling around. He's definitely onside, Kevin De Bruyne. A great first-time cross. Not able to clear it at all, the Chelsea defence. And it comes to Bernardo Silva coming in at the far post. What he does really well, he just makes sure it's on target. And Kukureya dives towards him. And it comes off him as deflection, but it goes in the goal. It could easily come off Kukureya and then outside the other side of the post. But it hasn't. City, we talked about them possibly nicking it, and if it stays like this, they will. But they won't care one bit.
It wasn't even a great cross from De Bruyne. He mishit it, actually, and it came off the toes of Petrovic, who steered it into the path of Bernardo Silva, who finished it well. Pep celebrates, and Manchester City have stolen the lead in a game where they've been second best for a lot of it. And Chelsea just haven't taken their chances, and they certainly haven't been at their very best. And Bernardo Silva was just about to be taken off by Pep Guardiola and replaced by Oscar Bob. But he stayed on for the vital moment, which has probably earned Manchester City a place in another FA Cup final, a second successive FA Cup final.
Well, I'll tell you what, two things. One, Chelsea will be absolutely kicking themselves, Nicholas Jackson in particular, all the chances that they have missed. But two, that decision to not give a penalty for Jack Grealish's handball becomes even bigger.
Well, certainly the officials' decision there will come into sharp focus, but to be honest, I think Chelsea will be ruining the sheer number of missed opportunities. Again, the referee just brandished a yellow card, a clutch of 4 shirts, just sort of waved it at them. I think he was giving it to Rodri.
I think he's giving it to 2 people there. He must have given it to Kevin De Bruyne for the initial foul.
De Bruyne made the foul. The ball was played down the left-hand side for Chelsea, who looked to try and come on the attack here. Ball cleared away by Ortega, and eventually it's headed by Thiago Silva. Silva out to Disassi on this near side, and now Conor Gallagher has it on the halfway line. Infield he wanders. He's pinched by Doku. Didn't see what was coming in his wing mirrors there, Conor Gallagher. And Manchester City come forward again with Doku. It's behind De Bruyne, picked up by Foden, swept into Alvarez, away by Thiago Silva. He couldn't control it, Alvarez. And then Disassi moves it forward. Pep's on the pitch. He's on the pitch, jumping up and down, going furious at the Manchester City players. He's still going mad. He's still half on the pitch. He was standing on the playing surface. Look at him, he's having a go at Phil Foden. He's going absolutely balmy. He's saying, use your head. He's pointing to us. He's slapping the top of his head with both his fingers. He's doing another one of those massive demonstrations of being upset and full of discontent as a change does take place. Alvarez comes off and Bob comes on. He's going mad, Pep Guardiola. It's not delivered for the cameras though, just in case.
No, he's not.
Going to suggest that.
He's going to need to ice his head after that. I know that the way he was slapping that. But look, no, it shows the passion that he's got. Look, honestly, he doesn't care about the cameras. You know, people are asking questions about why do you do it, why don't you wait. I don't care. I don't care. I want to do this when I want to do it, and I will do it when I want to do it. If that makes sense.
Chilwell is on, and so is Sterling. Off comes Enzo Fernandez, and Chelsea make a change with Cucurella coming off at left back as well. So I just wonder whether or not those changes just a little bit late, Scott, really, because the game was just starting to slip away from Chelsea.
Yeah, it was. We mentioned about how Chelsea have had all the chances, but not really in the previous 10 or so minutes, and they were just starting to tire a little bit. And I think that's where perhaps it could have come a little bit earlier, rather than being reactive to 1-0 down with minutes to go.
Going to be successive 1-0 defeats at Wembley for Chelsea, unless they can turn it round. And Maurizio Pochettino has often been criticised for sort of getting to the latter stages of competitions and then faltering, is going to see his side falter again. Here is Palmer on the right side, looking to feed the ball down the right channel. The idea was right from Palmer, but it was just a little bit too heavy and didn't give Jackson enough of a chance to run onto it. And out comes Ortega. Bernardo Silva's goal with 6 minutes to go looks to have settled the semi-final. Ake upfield to Oscar Bob, the substitute, challenged by Chalobah. The ball goes out of play. Pep's now going mad at the 4th official. He comes over, does a little yogi squat, then gets back into his technical area. The reason that he's so slender, I think, is because the amount of calories he burns off during a football match on the side of the touchline. Jackson out to the left. Chilwell coming forward. Sterling's going through the middle. He's got to stay onside here. Chilwell into the penalty area, plays the ball against the defender Diaz. It goes out, and it's behind and away for a corner kick. It just wasn't crisp enough. The cross, he should have played it a lot earlier. He took too many touches, drove down the left side of the box. If he'd played it earlier towards the edge of the box on the diagonal, Sterling could have run onto it. Instead, he carried it for so long that he invited the blocked cross.
Absolutely. On his second touch, he should have whipped it in. There was space in behind. By the time he tried, it's too late.
Here is the corner, into the near post, away by Diaz, back out to Chilwell. Chilwell's challenged on the edge of the box. Referee says play on. It's got it out to Mudryk, who sends the ball back towards the far post. 8 minutes of added time at the end of the game, and it goes out for a goal kick away to our right. Anyway, Chilwell's furious, thinking he was fouled on the edge of the penalty area. Referee says no, and the 8 minutes of added time, Chelsea will be hoping that they get one more chance in it. At this moment in time, though, they're going to have to up their game a bit, because Pochettino's looking a little bit stressed on the touchline. And I can understand why, because he'll look back over the course of the 90 minutes and he'll tally up the chances that Jackson has had and others have had during the game. I mean, the two quick chances at the start of the second half, probably the biggest ones. The penalty shout when Cole Palmer's free kick hit the hand of Grealish, and I think everybody in this commentary box and Alex Crook behind the goal thought that was a handball. Those moments will come into sharp focus, but ultimately it's about putting the ball in the net, and Chelsea haven't done that. Bernardo Silva has, and after his heartbreak in midweek, it's heartbreak for Chelsea at Wembley again, I think. Here is Rodri, up to Oscar Bob. Strong, robust challenge from Thiago Silva, but it runs for Kevin De Bruyne. Out towards the near touchline as City come on the attack. Doku slows the game down, then goes to go past Disasi with ease. Plays a 1-2 with De Bruyne, doesn't get the return, it's a goal kick.
He's so good, Doku, isn't he? The way he just stops and then goes so quickly. Disasi was nowhere near him. He's actually done really well since he's come on defending against the winger. But there, he just left him for dead. But you're right, Sam, about, Chelsea can only blame themselves, but I do think they can blame the officials. I do think you can say, well, you have to do your job there. I understand.
Oh, given away cheaply inside the area. Chilwell gives it straight to Bernardo Silva. It runs for De Bruyne, whose shot is blocked by Chalobah and bounces out to the near side. You were saying about the officials.
Yeah, look, I understand Michael Oliver not quite sure, but it's gone to VAR. The whole point of VAR is to look at it in a cold, calculating way, and how can you not see that's a deflection? And then you've got Cole Palmer stepping up. Of course he can miss, but he hasn't yet. Like I said about that first goal being so important, it would have been so important. I don't want to completely put it on the officials, because it's not about that. Chelsea have had enough chances to put this game to bed.
I think also Manchester City deserve credit for getting through and showing their mentality, their winning mentality, because this game could have gone beyond them. It could have got away from them, but they didn't allow that to happen. And when they did get a little bit of luck, they then created their own opportunities to get in front in the match. And it is a match they lead going into the last few minutes of stoppage time. And it shows just how focused they are on winning trophies. This one, after losing out in the Champions League, becomes ever more important. The Premier League returns next Thursday for them, away at Brighton on Talksport, Forest away, Wolves at home, Fulham away on Talksport, Manchester City games on Talksport, their Tottenham games on Talksport as well, and the West Ham game on the final day of the season might well be the place where the trophy is lifted, although Arsenal might have something to say about that. And Liverpool too. Arsenal playing straight after us here at Molineux. Ball out of play on the far side as time ticks away for Chelsea in the FA Cup. The semi-final might be their limit this season. Here is Gallagher far side. Ball loose on the edge of the penalty area. There was a foul there on Gallagher. The referee has given it eventually after consultation with his assistant. What does this mean for Pochettino? Because their end of season fixtures look very tough. Arsenal away, Aston Villa, Tottenham, West Ham, Nottingham Forest, Brighton and Bournemouth. If they are going to finish as high as they possibly can, they've got some big fixtures to win.
Absolutely. And, where City are proven winners mentally, this Chelsea side aren't. But how will it affect them getting knocked out the FA Cup?
Ball up to Sterling, heads the ball down into Palmer, looks for the return, gets there, but so does Akanji. Akanji hits it against Sterling. It goes out of play for a throw-in. Pochettino is furious that Darren England has given Darren England, the fourth official, was coming over, but the assistant on the near side has given City the ball and said it was a City throw. Pochettino is absolutely furious. I think he's going to go in on the officials after the game here, because I think he feels as if he's been given a rough ride. He's still complaining on the touchline. 3 minutes still to play of added time at the end of the 90 here, with City in front by Bernardo Silva's goal.
Do you know what? He can't have a go at the officials in terms of the general game. I think, Michael Oliver's been consistent.
Here is Doku down the left-hand side, skating past Disasi, then stopping, facing him up. Goes on the outside. Disasi can't keep hold of him this time. He does manage to just hold him up. De Bruyne gets a little bit more joy, takes the ball to the corner. He knows that this game is nearly finished. He then feeds it into the box, a little bit of a waste, and given to Chelsea. Maybe one last attack for them.
Yeah, the referee's been consistent. He may not have made all the right decisions, but he tried to treat both teams in the same way. But just that one decision, one big decision, absolutely massive it was. It really was. As I say, Cole Palmer stepping up for a penalty, you'd fancy him. And that first goal just completely changes the complexion of it. Chelsea can play in a different way. They can defend a little bit deeper. Well, can put two men on Doku.
Interestingly, Phil Foden's just been penalised for a free kick over on the far side. Chilwell went past Foden and then past Silva. The referee then pulled it back. I think maybe he's lucky that Silva had a nibble at him as well, because otherwise Foden could have been booked for a second time. Ball loose inside the penalty area. Comes back to Gallagher, edge of the D. He tries to get the better of Oscar Bob, but he can't. And Doku's picked it up, and he's racing clear on the halfway line. It's 3 against 3, and City have the ball. They'll take it to the corner. Kevin De Bruyne runs out towards the corner flag, knowing that the job is done, and very professionally just holds on to it and wastes a few more precious seconds. Chelsea nick it back. Chalobah gets it forward. He plays it out to the left-hand side. We've got 90 seconds to play here. Is there going to be a late twist in the tail at Wembley? Can Chelsea fashion one late chance? They haven't had too many chances in this second 45 since Nicholas Jackson's double miss right at the beginning of the second 45. Those blue shirts start to come forward. Palmer, who's had limited influence on the game, looks up, turns, gets away from Bob and plays a good ball out towards Disasi. Wanted the return, didn't get it. Chelsea have got to get it forward. There's no point in playing it backwards of square. It goes up to halfway. Chilwell, Mudryk on the run, down the left, trying to outpace Walker. He gets in behind Walker, who pushes him, and it's a free kick in a short hockey position over on the far side.
Interesting. Kyle Walker didn't need to do that again. He hasn't quite looked himself today. He's always been just a little bit short, and just stand up. Mudryk, once he got that touch, was always going to go down, and now it's a free kick in a very dangerous position, and we are in the very last minute of the 8th minute of injury time.
It is Chelsea's season in this kick, really. Are they going to keep alive the hopes of winning a trophy? It rests on Mykhailo Mudryk to take the free kick. Pep Guardiola nervously scratches his head. It's a right-footed ball towards the far post, and it is nothing short of dreadful. A complete waste over the top of everybody and out for a goal kick.
If you're a Chelsea fan looking at that, just get it in there.
Why is he taking it? I mean, there's Palmer on the pitch. I know it probably favours a right footer. Gallagher's on the pitch.
Yeah, it's an in-swinging one. Get Gallagher on it. Someone who's used to the pace of the game, and it's just such an important one. Yes, of course, you want to try and fizz it in, but you can't just give the ball back. As you say, last kick of the game, season rests on that.
Ball cleared away by Ortega. We've played our 98 minutes now. The referee will blow the whistle very shortly, and it'll be another cup final for Manchester City. And maybe it will be another All-Manchester Cup final. Maybe Coventry might join them, and it will be City against City. We'll find out tomorrow. What we know is that Manchester City have bounced back from shootout shock to knock Chelsea out of the FA Cup and revive their hopes of a double. The manner of it may not have been perfect, but they got the job done in the end. Bernardo Silva with a telling moment. And in doing so, they serve notice to their title rivals that although they too can suffer setbacks, they can rebound with equal power. And they rode their luck at times today against the Chelsea team that fashioned quite a few opportunities but didn't take them. But when they got one, when their opportunity knocked, they rammed it home, and they will be coming back to Wembley for another FA Cup final at the end of May. It's finished at Wembley in the FA Cup semi-final. Manchester City 1, Chelsea 0.
And just look what it means to those Manchester City players after that Champions League defeats in midweek. Kevin De Bruyne not just punching the air, leaping in the air and punching the air. Bernardo Silva the same, the goal scorer, the match winner. Pep genuinely emotional at full time as well. And the flip side of that, Cole Palmer on the floor looking crestfallen. Listen, it's been a tough week for the FA Cup, but that's what it means to get to an FA Cup final. This competition still means the world to players and fans. It's just the rest of them who don't seem to understand that. But listen, Scott Minto, it's not going to go down as one of the classic semi-finals, but Nicholas Jackson will look back on that and think, I've had the chance to be a Chelsea hero today. He could possibly have even had a hat-trick today. and he's blown that opportunity. He's just got to learn from it, but that's one of the big reasons why Chelsea haven't won today.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that almost sums up Chelsea's season, really, doesn't it? Created a lot of chances, a lot of big chances. They're higher in the expected goals today than City were, and yet City come out winners. And look, credit to City. I've gone on about it, but you cannot begin to imagine how difficult physically that was, what they went through midweek and how tired they must have been. And
emotionally as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I think they can handle the emotional side of it. I really do. I think they can bounce back. They're winners. But to go again, and people say, oh, they're not looking sharp, or, you know, I don't know, sometimes you hear the word bottlers, or you hear the word, they weren't at it today. Sometimes, no matter how much you want your mind to be at it, you want your body to be at it, you just can't do it. And after 120 minutes against the Real Madrid side that was so solid, but were literally, this is Real Madrid we're talking about. We're saying we want to try and almost play for penalties. And so I always felt they were going to be a little bit off it today, and it was Chelsea's opportunity to take advantage of that. Look, you know, you and I have defended Nicholas Jackson, and you can see there's a talent there. He's strong, he's big, you know, he's absolutely in the first half. You know, I don't know whether John Stones was injured. I think he must be, because he looked a million miles off it, and Nicholas Jackson was really enjoying himself playing against his Manchester City back four. But when it comes to the moment of putting the ball in the back of the net, that's what you're defined for. And I think there's a talent, but he's almost a year or two behind where he's being asked what he's been asked to do. He's almost, if you want Chelsea, you know, at least fighting for top four, if not the Premier League itself. He's your come off the bench type of guy. So to ask him to be that number 9 is difficult, but absolutely, you know, just seeing him crouching on the floor, realising he had those opportunities to put City to bed, no doubt about it, he'll be absolutely devastated that he wasn't the match winner today.
Well, Disasi came on the right-hand side. That's where the Manchester City goal came from. The City left, the Chelsea right. Bernardo Silva slamming it home. There were other key moments in the game. Very quickly here, Scott, the Grealish handball is definitely handball. I can understand why the ref wouldn't see it, but we're supposed to have VAR for a reason. It didn't spot it. You were saying in commentary that was a big, crucial decision. It was, but there was also another one when Caicedo could easily have got a second yellow for following through and kicking Grealish in the knee. That led to Grealish going on. Grealish, on the bench, by the way, was looking at it over and over again. He was looking at the incident. So, two big decisions that officials possibly got wrong today.
Yeah, look, again, with that second one, you know, Grealish was livid, wasn't he, when he came off, and you know, he's taken him out of the game, and that would have been Caicedo's second yellow card. But you know, referees do make mistakes; they do miss things. The one with Jack Grealish with the handball, how can VAR not see it? I just don't get it. And again, in a game of fine margins where City are being brought down by what happened on Wednesday, and Chelsea, after what happened on Monday, will feel that they can actually get past City and were the better side, but just they're creating chances but not able to stick the ball in the back of the net. I don't want to go down that route of blaming officials, really, because a referee can make mistakes. And look, you're not for VAR, I am for VAR, but I'm for VAR and less is more. It's just the referee's in control of it. So I understand referees make mistakes, but the VAR should not make that mistake. It's a clear deflection. It's hit his arm. He's 10 yards away. It's a penalty.
But it wasn't, and City win in the end. Chelsea 0, Manchester City 1 in the FA Cup semi-final on Talksport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly. We'll be back here tomorrow for the second semi-final. Championship Coventry against Manchester United. Wembley Box Park from midday, and then pitch side here at Wembley from 2 for a 3:30 kickoff. Winner will face the holders Manchester City, who've made it through here this evening. Nicholas Jackson missed sitter after sitter. He's probably going to miss the bus home. His finishing wasn't gold standard, so it's left to Silva to send City through to the final. Live to Molineux next with the award-winning Faker Others for Wolves against Arsenal in the Premier League, live and exclusive on Talksport.